Thanks to all our active patrons who have contributed a lifetime of $100 or more to reach Garuk Dong level status.
Here is the list of those special patrons in order of contributions.
If you would like to support our show, check out the CommanderSmiths at patreon.com. Welcome to the CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Oh, that was smooth. Don't worry.
Right. We're cousins.
All right. Are you that smooth because you know that we have Malort shots that are bought and paid for the next, like, forever?
For the next month, yes.
It's, I think my wife cleverly said it. It's the month of Malort. What we have going on.
Exciting. So there is one regular shot because Samson is a decent human being.
Wait, is that today? Do we get
No. That's 2 weeks from now.
Damn it.
Episode 237.
Damn it.
Real quick, you're quiet for me? Is that me or you? Or
I can turn myself up a little bit. Does that sound a little bit better there? Let me
yeah,
turn
I'd say
myself.
that's better.
Okay. All right. So I got my mic up there. Okay, so right off the bat here, episode 235, we're going to make a little bit of changes because some things were, perfect. Who wrote that? Renshai, we are always on time. They are always like, no. Somebody said they arrive exactly when they mean to. I thought somebody said that. Maybe not.
No. He says that they're always on time. We are always late. Our response is, we are wizards. We arrive exactly when we're supposed to.
Exactly. That's what I thought somebody wrote. I was like, hell yeah. Who wrote that? But I'm just seeing things and wanted people to write that. So we do have something that wasn't shown. Josh D, you douchebag. I mean, awesome human being. When I was posting the cast today, before I got to editing the details of what the cast was about, he noticed that I hadn't changed the prices on Malort
quite yet.
So he bought us 3 more shots for another week. So that's why it's the month of Malort.
Yep. So he definitely shot specced and he got his money's worth.
That was the best from last week's shot specs. I love that. You guys are investors. It makes sense.
That's a good point, Cole. Adam's not actually a wizard until he gets a robe. That's actually not accurate.
I have a wizard sleeve, and it's down there. And Lowry has a wizard sleeve, too.
That's because we're uncircumcised.
Yep. Ding, 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 ding. I wish I had a button for that, but I guess the bang, bang, bang button maybe where it works. Or
yeah. Here you go, AJ.
I don't want a relationship. I just want bang, bang, bang. I don't want to know your name. I just want bang, bang, bang.
So, needless to say,
I had my anniversary weekend. No, just kidding. That was after.
Oh,
bang,
good
bang, bang.
for you.
Joke. What were you gonna say?
No, what happened there? That? I don't want to know your name. Did you guys role play that a little bit?
No, she doesn't even know the song. She doesn't listen. We went to the Dakota Jazz Club here in Minneapolis. It was nice. Watched a little live lounge music.
Nice.
And good just food, chilled. Good music.
Very nice.
Bought a bed.
A lot of what?
There, just somewhere else earlier.
Bought a bed, did you say?
Bought a bed.
Oh.
Our bed's been awful. We've been so unhappy with beds over the last 4 years. Nah, we just have different needs. So we ended up getting like a sleep number. Went bougie.
Oh, good for you.
That's appropriate use of that button. I agree with that.
We bought a bed too, but why are we doing things all at the same time? You know, I get gout, then you get gout. We bought the needle beds or whatever they're called. Needle brand or whatever. It's like foam, so super nice, like squishy or whatever.
I can't do squishy. That's kind of our problem right now.
Oh really? You need it hard.
So, I need it stiffer. If that
it makes sense.
I'm a fat guy. I just sink down. I'm like, pillow tops suck. Don't ever buy pillow tops.
No, those are kind of tough. Yeah,
those are garbage.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of memory foam.
No, ours is
because I sink down.
I've fallen and I can't get up. You just get stuck.
It's not just sleeping. It's other activities.
What kind of activities?
Yeah, it just messes up the angles.
I just want to hit buttons. That's all I want to do.
Cool story, Hansel.
Tell me more.
I'm sure we're going to get full of donations and then people telling you to get a not soft bed for better like traction. I'm
better
just saying.
traction. I will. Do I go that in depth? It is a little more difficult when you sink in. I will just say that when you're doing a certain.
Instead of one pillow, you need 2 or 3. I'm just saying.
Okay, so back to what we were talking about with the shots and all that stuff. So we are changing things up a little bit. Obviously, you guys can't buy us shots unless it's future shots at this point. But here's the lineup. Here's the thing. The hot beans are they're still in play, just not during the podcast. Because what that did was it almost throws us off more than taking a shot, even a Malort shot, right? And what we're gonna do is have those available for when we're playing Commander games. I think that's it. Actually, Commander games, and that's gonna be a twice a month at least thing. And then we are going to have, basically the podcast is you can, anytime you're watching us live, if you wanted to donate $1 or just to even say good job, whatever, we'll take a regular jelly bean. So that's anytime, but just for the podcast, it's just going to be shots and up to 3. Yep. So, you can do a normal shot for 10 and Malort is 15. And that's a double for both of us. And then there will be targeting shots in battle boxes because we're already drinking there. And then the Commander games are just mainly going to be beans in general. So each one will have it posted of what we have available. Josh D just kind of took advantage of me. You bent us over and kissed us on the.
He got it in.
He got it in,
and we didn't even notice.
No. Actually,
until he told us, and we're like,
"Really? You're correct." I was like,
we went and checked, and he was right.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And we're still not happy about it. But
so, needless to say, let's get one of these bad Malorts out of the way.
You're right,
because it is not a fun shot. I am dreading this shot. I have not dreaded shots before. That makes me sound like a booze hound, but. Shots don't bother me, it's like, oh, they suck or whatever, but I'm dreading this now after we've done this. Was last week number 1? It was week number 1.
With Malort.
Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to this. I had my wife take a taste of this, my neighbors take a little taste of it, and they couldn't even take a sip. Cindy said it tastes like nail polish remover. So, okay. So who's this first
I think that's
shot
being
out to?
Nice. This first shot is going to be from Doji.
Doji 21.
And it is Malort. And he bought 2 of them. Appreciate it, Doji. You're the man. Cheers.
God damn it. I hate
that's.
Oh my God. It is so gross. It is so gross. I really do not like that. We have to do this for a month. Can we figure out something else? This sucks.
We said we'd do it.
I know. You
didn't even play the button to remind us why we're doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. You are. That actually goes well because, Game of Thrones just started. Where's the page?
I've heard there's a person with 3 boobs in there.
No, there.
Oh, that was just the
that's from Total Recall. I think that's what it is. Total Recall.
We know.
A Smith.
Always pays.
It's gross. Hey, Cole, if you're showing up next weekend, we can have you take a little sip, just a little one, so you know what it's like.
Cole, you didn't take one at SmithCon? It's crazy.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I hardly remember.
Speaking of SmithCon, I was at our hotel that we stayed at for SmithCon for a wedding. That's why we had the cast is on Tuesday this week or right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a wedding that was a Sunday night wedding, so I wasn't feeling good yesterday. And now I'm taking Malort, which is awesome. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
But yeah, stayed at our old hotel. I took a picture of that and posted it into Discord.
I like that it's our old hotel.
It's a lot of memories happen there. Okay, so what do we have going on today, Lowry? We might as well talk about that a little bit, get people enticed.
Did we come up for a title with this segment idea?
I just said tune up or tune down for the segment part. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we're doing. When you're looking at your deck,
tips to tune. Something with T's. Tuning tips. Tuning tips. Tips tuning.
All right. So basically what we're saying is like, this could be in anywhere, but like if you have a regular meta and you're like, oh, I'm blowing my friends out, or that sounds gross.
Yeah, you got me off guard. I was like,
Sorry.
whoa.
Like if you're overpowering your crew, that also could be taken wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
You know
when you're doing better than everybody else, or if you're not doing good enough, how can you bring your decks up or bring them down, adjust them so that they play within a group or within where you want the deck to be? And these are just some ideas on how to put it where you want it.
The comments are amazing. Tune tits. I'm intrigued. That's what Noji said. And then
I love blowing my friends out.
Samson, yeah. I love blowing my friends out.
So we're gonna have to have Cole. It looks like he didn't have one at SmithCon. If you're coming over next weekend, just take a little sip.
Yeah, just a little sip. Just a little sip.
So it's definitely top.
It's kind of a little.
Appreciate it. But
just the
every
tips.
once in a while, I need a break.
Well, we're also going to be going over the secret layer that just dropped as of yesterday. So we're going to go through that pretty quickly. Kind of keep that within 10 minutes if we can. We have a Stump the Smith Savant. This week is Los Pollos Hermanos, which is from the Exiled. And we have these two bad boys here, the Ancient Brass Dragon and Forbidden Orchard. So we have 2 cards, and this is week number 6, I believe. So if you can go 3 more weeks, including this week, we will add a 3rd card. We've only done that once. I think we've gotten to 3. And then you were very close to getting to 4. And then
I think I instantly gave it up.
Okay. And then we have, what do we have for our staple verses this week?
So Adam is going to be doing some bad card that I can't ever remember the name of.
Do you have it written down? It's a helm.
Yeah, but I'm playing the bit a little bit better.
Gotcha. All right.
It's just not that good. And I'm going to be doing Spark Double, which is pretty awesome. What are you doing? What are you doing again?
Helm of the Host. Could you really not remember, or are you just playing the bit? You're playing
just
the bit.
playing the bit.
You're playing the bit.
I've been staring at it all week. Because normally when I'm trying to come up with it off the top of my head, if anybody picked that for something Smith,
you won't be able to
get it.
Like, I know what the card is. I just don't know the name.
Yeah. Yep.
No, it's funny because I still, with Helm of the Host, I have to go, when I haven't thought of it for a little bit, I have to go, it's Helm of something. What is it? Oh yeah, Helm of the Host. Helm is the word that I always remember, and then I can never remember the rest of it.
I can't. I was typing in crown. I was like, what is this?
Crown of the Host?
What is going on? And I just had to go through a deck knowing which deck it's in. So I could pick what decks it's in, but I don't know the name of it. So good luck to me, right?
Yeah. Well, we also have to go over our results of last week's, which was Ingaruk's Wake and Azuri's Predation, which I'm not gonna. It's kind of a landslide from one way to the other. I'm just gonna say that really quick.
Yeah. No, I believe it.
Okay, so I don't think we need to get too much into a lot of things here because we have shots to do later, and we have a big quick turnaround to get the cast out. So we're gonna kind of go.
Burger King is disgusting.
Crown of the. Okay,
I gotta just say that worst of the fast food chains.
What is the worst?
Burger King.
You think it's the worst?
It's fucking trash.
I like their Whoppers, Whopper Juniors. I dig them. And then they did like a Whopper Melt like a couple months ago, and that was pretty delicious. It was like on a Texas toast bun, but it was like nice and soggy.
It's trash. I mean, I'm sure
they're right, closing down everywhere though, like left and right.
Fucking trash.
But then what do you say about McDonald's? Don't hate.
What?
Don't say.
No, McDonald's is way better. Okay. It's edible.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I was gonna say, don't hate on my McGriddles, buddy. Don't hate on my McGriddles.
No, I fucking have McGriddles like 1 to 2 times a week. Whenever I drive and I'm working, I'm like, that's my
You
breakfast.
lucky bastard. That's my favorite.
Oh, good for you.
It's
That's my favorite.
It's good
breakfast.
with a coffee.
Fries.
All right,
Okay,
we're getting
okay,
off.
okay.
Let's this.
We
should
are.
be-
We're getting
this-
off. Lucky.
This should be. This should be with number 2 and with our new podcast called "This Is Why We're Fat."
This is why we're.
Just discuss fat food chains. There we go.
We-
Fast food chains.
We do have a channel on the Discord. This is why we're fat.
We
so
do.
That's where we
Yep.
post all our.
So
food.
if you want to join the Discord for $1, look at that.
Look at that. Look at
transition.
that transition.
See?
You
Doing your job
can-
for you.
You can join the Discord, just like our new patron, Ben Thompson.
Welcome to a meat forest.
That sounds like a fairy tale of a meat forest.
We also have a returning person, don't we, Lowry?
Chance is back.
Chance is
And,
back.
I like our chances with that guy. That's sorry.
Hey,
I apologize.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yep. All right. Well, but appreciate you both becoming or coming back to being patrons. Hopefully you're on the Discord. I think you are.
yeah, I think
But-
yeah, both are.
I
So,
know
yeah.
chances.
But yeah, you guys can become a patron just like those guys. $1 or more get you in the Discord, like Larry just said there. $5 gets you proxies each month, and as you move up on the tier levels, you can get foil proxies and all that. Also, when you hit the $100 level, you get a Garukdong shout out, which is the Garukdong level, and that's at the beginning of the podcast. Also, playmats. You get a playmat free. You can also buy those. They're $25 a piece. So you guys just direct message me or Lowry on Twitter or on email, or if you're on the Discord, you can do it there as well. So that is the financial way to support the show. Besides that, you can support the show by donating here on the live cast on Mondays typically. But if you can donate, make us do tricks by doing jelly beans or shots. We're paid for the next month with shots, but you can still donate $1 on those or any of the live stuff that we do. We have tons of live stuff. It's on YouTube. And one of the live things that we did this last week was we did some gameplay, actually, didn't we, Larry? We had Discord gameplay, and
We did.
I played my Duke deck. And what did you play?
I played Savant.
That was
And I
pretty
just wrapped
crazy.
the board a bunch of times.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was amazing.
It was-
I just made the game. It's like a 2+ hour game. That was a little long.
we thought it was going to be done after an hour. I was like, well,
Well,
this game's
fucking-
about to be over. And then
Savala, Quinn
Yeah.
came out with Savala, and people listening, shit you not, he went land, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet into
What was the last
another
thing?
ramp card.
yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It was fucking sick. And then the next turn, he was like,
Dropping high.
He was so far ahead of him.
Yeah.
it was like turn 4, I'm taking 20.
Mhm. So then you
And-
board wiped, and that kind of set him back quite a bit. And then
Yep.
Jake, dragging me down, came in and started swinging and took out Quinn.
He's playing Ken, which was awesome.
Oh yeah,
The
Ken was
Street Fighter
surprisingly really
Ken.
good.
Yep.
But yeah, those playing the spells off of damage was pretty crazy. And then it came down to I ended up killing Ken with Duke by just going all out with the Chroma's Will is fucking fantastic, people. Like
That's
just
a
in
crazy
case you don't
card.
know, double strike, life link, vigilance, protection from color or whatever, and
It's a card that
flying.
literally does everything.
Yeah, so that was pretty much, I got him out and then eventually was able to get Lowry. But Lowry couldn't, with you being able to redirect the damage, it was just scary in that. Like, no one wanted to go at you because it was like, well, fuck, this is going to hit me right in the face or kill my shit. So it was...
So if you check out the game, you can go check it on YouTube. It's a pretty long, intricate game. Everybody kind of has a shot, except for me. But
I
also,
wouldn't say that.
I
Most
never
cards
had a
are-
shot of winning, but it was hard to kill me.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say
that's
you
all
didn't.
I'm saying.
I
Like I
wouldn't say
had
you-
3 Spite Mirrors, which was sweet
Yeah.
at the end of the game.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
So
It's
that was
just,
cool. I was
yeah,
happy with it.
that was the redirection.
And Helm of the
stuff.
Host didn't help me one bit. It was all
You didn't even play it.
no, I didn't. I don't have it in there. It's a bad card.
Did you have Spark Double in there?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's just a terrible card.
I had quasi duplicate, which is a sweet ass card.
That is a pretty good card.
It's a good card.
Okay, so that is you can check out the gameplay stuff. Like I said,
okay. So even though it's a 2+ hour game, put it on 1.5 speed. You'll get it over with under 2 hours. You'll watch a lot
That's
of
a good
games.
point.
Nobody talks that fast, and it's going to be great. You probably should be listening to the podcast in that speed too, if you have a chance.
yeah, but then we sound
Just
like Alvin
saying.
and the Chipmunk. I like listening to stuff at half speed because then it just sounds like everybody's
Do you?
wasted.
Everybody,
It's funny to listen to some stuff like that. You're just like,
like Will
some-
Ferrell in
you're funny. Yeah, I like you.
that
but
one, that
you're-
bit. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so Discord games, we're trying to ramp that up, especially once we get into fall here. Kids are back in school. It's a little bit easier to get back out of the summer stuff. We'll be doing probably twice a month. And actually, there is a potential for some two-headed giant takedown stuff that's going to be Discord stuff, but we will see. It would basically be the Discord going against Lowry and myself, and we'd make a day of it. So that's in the works. But the only way you guys can do that is to become a patron. So jump on there. That's whatever. Okay, we already talked about that. Other videos we have during the week, we have curated MTG. Yesterday you had a curated MTG, and what was that card, Larry?
From the Ashes, which is 3 in a red sorcery that destroys all non-basic land, and for each one that's destroyed, you get to go and put a basic land into play. That's everybody. Really does well in your landfall decks, and it checks those 5-color and really greedy land decks. And then also really fun against, if you have like a Zozu the Punisher deck, they should be in there because either they're like, I don't want those lands, or I'm going to take 2, 4, 6, 8, and it adds up pretty quick.
Well, and the other part of that is those destroying the non-basics can be very helpful, especially if you're only playing like a 1-color, 2-color deck.
Right.
You can take out those Gaia's Cradles too. Just in general, that's a good card to do. So, and it's for all players, right? Am I right with that?
Yeah. So it hits you, and the lands come into play untapped.
Yeah. So that could be kind of a fun thing to do for yourself. Like if you had a landfall with red, which you don't normally have a lot of red landfall, but you could if you had it in a deck.
I mean, it
like
works
that.
in Omnath. It can work in, there's a couple of red-green ones like Omnath, the other Omnath.
And then the other Omnath, but not the first Omnath.
Not the first Omnath, no. But the other 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the landfall stuff would work really nice for yourself and also hinder the other people, get rid of their good shit. So that's actually foreshadowing to some tips that you can do to tune down a deck if whatever. We'll get to it. Okay. That is curated. What else do we have? We have spotlight decks. We didn't do one last week because we had the games. Might have a couple this week. You might have one. I might work on Blanca, the second time of Blanca, because now I'm not going camping this week. So I might try to fit that one in. And then,
I think I'm gonna end up doing a switcheroo.
Okay.
So I'll have like
tuning
3-4 decks, and
some cards.
you'll get to see when I'm switching in and out, and it goes a little bit faster paced than it used to. So if you haven't checked it out before, or if you have and you're like, this is boring as shit, I understand. I've changed up the format a little bit, and it goes a lot quicker.
There you go.
Bang, bang, boom. Bang.
And most of the stuff that we do is 9:00 start time Central. So if you want to watch us live and whatever, chime in there. It is normally 9:00. And the best way to find us, though, is on Discord or Twitter. I think that's it for our YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube stuff, but I was just jumping to Twitter quick here.
Right.
Twitter is Discord Lite. We basically post 10% of what we do on Discord. No, it's probably less than that because we write a lot of messages on there. There's probably 1% of what we do on Discord.
1% of Discord
goes on to Twitter. So Discord Lite is Twitter, but we do post every video that we do. Sometimes some Card Sphere stuff or some Mail Day stuff. We do the polls and all that fun stuff on there. You can direct message us there, or you can direct message us by shooting us an email at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. I would normally say this is when you can send the suggestions for this, but I think we need to do this first because we have. Let's get it done. I don't want this to be
that's
lingering.
fair. Okay, this is number 2. We got 3 this week. I do want to say I'm drinking a Belgian IPA beer. It's brewed with 3 types of hops. It's Hobloom Chauffé. It's imported, but it's good. It's like an IPA with Belgium. It's very good, very tasty.
So my wife got this, and I had it this weekend, and it actually might be really good with the Malort because it's very, very flavorful, but it's Campfire Munchies.
Oh.
And it is, I think it's from Lupulin. Yep, Lupulin Brewing, which is by me. It's an Imperial Stout with cocoa, marshmallows, graham crackers, and vanilla ale with natural flavors added. I had it this weekend, and it was very, very, very sweet. I couldn't finish it, but we'll see. This might go well.
Wait, hold on. Is that AleSmith? Was that what you said? Let me see it again.
What, this one?
Yeah. Oh, it's Lupulin. Yeah,
Lupulin. Yeah.
That's worth wasting.
Yeah, that's a lot of flavor to that.
So sweet.
Ooh. But it'll probably be good with this because now we got to do.
Sometimes when something like is really sweet and overpowering, you can sit on that for a couple of months, and it comes back a little bit more.
Oh, maybe I'll save that last one for that.
Chill.
Did you pour your shot already?
I did.
Okay. Fuck.
I thought you were gonna do it when I was talking, and then I did it when you were talking.
I was grabbing the beer out.
I thought that was smooth. All right,
taking
that
the
makes
beer out
sense
of the
too.
fridge. All right. So this one is for who again? It's the same.
All right,
Doji?
yeah, this one's from Doji again.
Doji.
Really appreciate you and the support that you bring.
Ding.
Cheers, mate.
Ugh.
I don't know why I threw a really bad accent on there, but
Oh my god.
ah! It's like I didn't take a real shot of it.
I don't think I'm ever gonna get over that fucking taste. Oh my god, it is so gross.
I like took a shot and then it was gross, so I went like this, and there's like it was still on the top palate, and then I could feel it draining down the back of my throat. It's gross.
We gotta.
It's gross.
Can we get a buyout of something? Like, can we?
How do you? It's called just giving the money back.
Just
a little bit more. So somebody pointed out some Jepson's, which is the company that does Malort. They have a bourbon, and I don't know if I trust it. I wouldn't. I don't see it. So.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. So let's get to our other stuff here because we do have our.
We're doing Stump Smith.
Yeah, we're getting to it. Let me get my stuff. Where's my stump? All right, you're right. All right, you guys can send suggestions for this.
Welcome
Oops,
to
wrong one. Hey, you guys get ready for this.
Welcome
to the meat forest.
What are you doing?
That sounds like a fairy tale of a meat forest.
It's like that button.
Welcome.
Ah, damn it. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right, if you guys don't know how this game works, I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowry is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes will hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no will hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
He will get up to 5 wrong guesses before he is considered stumped. He gets up to 3 clues. The card has to be in at least 5,000 EDH rec decks. And what else do we have here? This week's stumper, like I mentioned before, is Los Pollos Hermanos. Every 4 weeks, if Lowry does not get stumped, we will add a card to the ante. I have eliminated the chat, so Lowry can no longer see anybody there. But the chat can kind of work together and figure out. Hang on a second. I gotta make sure I got my right card up here. There we go. They can work together and try to guess the card before Lowry does. Was there anything else? Oh, I guess if he gets to the last clue, or he guesses everything what the card does but can't get the name, he will get the initials. If he is at that point and still has a clue left, he will get a bonus really revealing clue. This week I do have a little bit of a switch up on the order of things, and you'll see why when we get there. So, all right. And here we go. Where the dead serve as diversion, decor, and dessert. Where the dead serve as diversion, decor, and dessert.
Is it diversion or diversion?
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 Diversion. Diversion?
Yeah, I think it's diversion. Like diversion.
Diversion?
I just was trying to make sure. Because diversion.
What diversion are you talking about?
I don't know. This is a diversion. All right, diversion. What?
Where the dead serve as a diversion, decor, and dessert.
That sounds like Innistrad to me. Potentially like vampires. Dessert, decor, diversion.
Diversion, decor, and dessert.
It could be zombies as well, although like the dessert part. It seems like Innistrad vampires. I don't know if this question works. Does the theme or like art or like is this referring to vampires? Or is it like a vampire banquet? Or is it a vampire like around? And I'm not saying it has anything to say about vampires. It's just more of like, is the
I don't
theme-
know if I can give one way or the other on that one. So I'm not going to give you a wrong or a right because I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Okay. That's why I wasn't sure if that's going to be a legitimate question either. Like,
So far, all
I
the
get it.
guesses
I get
are
it.
wrong. Lightning Bolt, Jackal are wrong, and the other ones.
yeah, I don't think it's a red card. So yeah, I mean, okay, is this a black card? Black color identity.
Hello, boobies.
Okay. Is this? I mean, it instantly brought me to Innistrad. So is this Innistrad plane? Is this the plane of Innistrad?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
All right, first clue, please.
The art features a room of hanging bodies, tattered red drapes, and fire. The art features a room of hanging bodies, tattered red drapes, and fire.
Man, that's still screaming Innistrad block to me. One of the the 5 sets from it.
Well, then I might be wrong with which ones are in there. Give me that.
So there's Innistrad, there's Avacyn Restored, there is Dark Ascension, there is Shadows over Innistrad, and then there is
The newer ones.
no. There's one after Shadows. Oh, and then I guess there's Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt.
Renshai, you're on the right track.
Couldn't
But
find
no,
that easy enough.
it is still not Innistrad.
Okay. It potentially, clearly with fire and red drapes.
Red drapes.
Yeah, red drapes.
The art features
It,
a room of hanging bodies, tattered red drapes, and fire.
I'd say, Homelands is pretty vampire-ish. You didn't say either way with, is it vampire themed or vampire involved? So it potentially could be black and red. Can I hear the flavor text again, please?
Where the dead serve as diversion, decor, and dessert. Where the dead serve as diversion, decor, and dessert.
Wowzers. Okay. So I don't have a place with there isn't a fire, red drapes, and hanging bodies. There's no picture that comes to mind here. So maybe a clue is where it says where a yada yada yada. So that could mean like a land.
Renshai, you have the right idea or the right set.
He's so good at this. I feel like he's my main competition.
We'll just have Renshai jump in on this one whenever we do this and
I'm all right.
battle you. And just so you guys know, chat wise, when you guys are getting it right, I'm not going to tell you when you're wrong, but I'm monitoring it when you guys get it right, because otherwise I'm just going to continuously. You guys get a lot wrong. You're just terrible. I'm just kidding. Yep, you got
know
it.
who to vote for in
Renshai got it.
Stable Versus.
Renshai got it. Yep, he got it.
Oh shit! All right, so we know this is black identity. This is does it have red identity?
Hello, boobies.
So it's black and red identity. It is unlikely that it's zombie focused, but there's decor, diversion, and dessert. This is hanging.
Josh D said Renshai is a fucking Jedi.
I believe it. Okay. So, have I just had how many clues have I had?
One.
All right, I'll take a second clue then.
All right, so I'm skipping to my normal third clue because the second one gives away a little more. So I'm doing the third one. This card is in 152,000 EDH rec decks. Is seen in 91% of Jeska, Thrice Reborn, and Timna the Weaver decks. So the partner. Timna. And was first printed in Dissension.
In Dissension?
Mm-hmm. This card is in 152,000 EDH rec decks. 152,000 EDH rec decks. Is seen most in 91% of Jeskai and Timna decks, and first printed in Dissension. Has a black. You have it determined as black-red identity. The art features hanging bodies, tattered red drapes, and fire. And the flavor text is where the dead serve as diversion, decor, and dessert. Oh, Los Pollos is on. Yeah, I know. I like to
talk
give
shit.
Yeah.
All right, so recap. I know that it's red-black identity, and I know apparently the art. I've already kind of guessed like this might be a land, and I believe Dissension is where all of Rakdos is. So I mean, it potentially could be 100 and how many?
152,000.
That's a lot of decks not to be the shock land. Is this Blood Crypt?
Hello, boobies.
I got it.
You thought you were gonna get me with a land? Is that really? Yeah, I guess. All right.
Yeah, this one was tough.
Yep.
The reason why I didn't want to do the flavor or the text is I was like, the text features an optimal but shocking payment. So I was like, I don't want to do that one first.
Too bad. No, I'm glad you didn't do that.
Because I didn't know how to word with the shock land. I'm like, God damn it. Pain, life, Vermont. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do fetchable. So I was just like, all right, we're going to save that for third and see how that all goes. But yeah, what Los Pollos was saying was the Dissension is what gives it away a little bit more, especially because the amount of decks and everything.
So I would say the two big clues were like I knew it was black, and then when there was the red imagery of fire and red drapes, but also when I thought of where, when I was like, where is a determining factor of what the card is doing?
That's a good point.
It's assuming that it's a land potentially.
Yep.
Like it could be something else, but it really puts
it's not pointing to a thing or a person or anything. It's that is actually when I was reading that, I was thinking that same thing with it. Do you get what I was saying where you're like the blood with the vampires and stuff? I'm like, I don't know. This could be a ritual place of that. And I don't know. I could have probably given you a wrong on that one, but I didn't know for sure. Cause I was maybe I don't know something that I should know about this, but
because this Rakdos is based off of like, it's a demon cult. So this would be more of a demon ritual that's going on in the art. So you definitely could have given me a wrong, but you not being like,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I get that. So like if it was and you were wrong, that'd be brutal for me.
Yeah. I was like, oh, let's just eliminate that one. I have no idea. I'm sorry. I'm not a savant.
So I think that's appropriate. Even because that could have been the case on Innistrad as well. But a lot less likely.
Yeah.
And so, but I was still stuck on Innistrad for a while until I was wrong.
Until I said it was Dissension.
Yeah. But I had guessed Innistrad before that.
Yeah.
And sure. once I exit, once I'm like, okay, this isn't Innistrad, so it's very unlikely that it's vampire. Something else is going on. So I think where just that first word was the biggest clue for me of what was going on.
Yep. All right.
Thanks, Poyos. Yeah. You almost had me. No, you didn't.
Talking shit. All right.
I am.
You guys can send your suggestions, direct message me if you're on Discord, or you can shoot us an email. Lowry does not check that unless he's asked to. So that's a safe place to send your guys' submissions. Like Los Polio said, he submitted this back in March, and it's just we've had so many people. Oh, good for you. And it's a random drawing unless I'm gone or whatever. And so actually, I drew Los Polios names on there. But if I am gone or I can't do the normal Sunday thing, I pull from the oldest entry. So you will get drawn at some point. I'm just saying, you will get there at some point, depending on that. So. Good job on that. Now we are going to move in. Actually, we're going to just stay right here because we're going to jump over to our secret. Oh, I do have my secret layer shit. Okay. Hang on.
You got it up?
Well, I got to go find the button.
You did do planning.
There's Friday. There's so many.
I'm not looking at the chat, by the way, but I appreciate all of your input.
You're not looking at the chat? Why not?
No, because I can't see it when on your screen because it's
when it's on that side.
Yeah. So I have to look at it on my own thing.
Okay. Let me get the whole secret layer pulled up here and hit the button. Secret layer breakpoint. It's a secret. It is a secret.
All right, let's see. Maybe I could shrink it. I shrank it.
All right. Okay.
That's fantastic button.
So we have a new secret layer. We expected this one to come out today, or not today, on Monday. And now we're just going to go through the breakpoint. We're going to kind of tell you how the breakpoint works is basically the number needed to buy a particular secret layer until you get one free, and then from that point forward, it's profit. So, for example, let's say it takes you three of a certain particular secret layer to break even. So let's say it's $50 here, and let's say your profit is, well, what's that one? Actually, I could even pull that one up because that one is a breakpoint of 3. So the profit on this particular one this is just a guessing one and whatever it's of the Nicol Bolas one is $89 is what I have guesstimated on this one. This one's really a true guesstimation because I don't know where this one's going to go. So if you take that, you buy one. If you keep that for yourself, you have to buy another one. You're never going to have a break point of 0 or 1. You're always going to have to at least buy 2. So the second one you buy is another $50. So that puts you at $100. Well, it's $89. This is after shipping and after fees and everything. You're still in the hole technically. So by the time you get your third one, that puts you over. So after 3, you're making a profit from that point forward. You're getting your one secret layer for yourself. And that's the point of these, for me at least, is I want to expand my collection and also make a profit. So that's what the breakpoint is. That's what we're going to go through. We're going to go through these cards. We're going to kind of tell you which ones we think are worth it, which ones are garbage. Do you have the secret layer stuff pulled up so you go through it like we normally do?
I do. Yep. Yeah. We can do that.
Let's just start with the first one. This is also the August Super Drop, by the way.
That's actually a really good point. I don't know what the name of this one is called. It's called Showcase Dominaria United Textured Foil Edition. And it is also the stained glass visuals of the new. It's going to be the way that a lot of the legends are going to be, like as the alt arts in the upcoming set. And it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it does.
Like
amazing.
right off the bat. But this one is dedicated to the 5 original Elder Dragons. So you and from obviously the original set of fuck. I was gonna do a joke. It was gonna be great. No, I was gonna say the reprint one. Chronicles. There we go. A lot better if it's said smoothly. Okay, so these are from Legends. Arcade Sabbath. I'm not going to go all over them, but there's Arcade Sabbath is two green, two white, two blue.
I guess you don't have to really. I don't know. Do you think we go?
They're all 7/7s. They all have flying. They
say
all
the
have
names
an upkeep
of
their color identity.
Yeah.
And then they have certain abilities. But so you have Chromium, Nicol Bolas, Vivictus Asmati, and Palladium Moors. They all had their like a different version in like an M20 after or before Dominaria, but the art is fantastic.
Yes.
There is a lot of nostalgia here for older players,
right? That's the biggest thing.
But from Chronicles, they're worthless.
Worthless. I don't know, and I'm gonna be blunt with you. I don't know where to put these. Like the only one that is actually semi-playable is not Nicol Bolas. That's like the only one, because when it deals damage to an opponent, that player discards their hand. Right. These don't have trample or anything. You have this upkeep and everything. These aren't good commander cards, but they are the OGs of the Elder Dragons, and they are fantastic art. Like, I like these better than the originals. If you get out of the nostalgia part of it, I like these. You know, they look awesome.
Hold on, better than Legends, or better than?
No, just
like if I got a Legends version of this, I would.
That's the nostalgia part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that.
But so is the Chronicles version.
But you know what I'm saying is like these look good. Like this if I didn't know Legends and you showed me all these arts, compare them side by side, to be like, I want these. But the thing is they're not usable in Commander. This is strictly a collector card and a fart around Commander deck. You know, it's not something.
Right.
So
I don't think I'd ever use it. I don't think I'd use any of these.
No. So like you said, Chronicles are under $1. Now the Legends, each of these ranges, you know, Arcades is 60, Chromium 70, Nicol Bolas is 207, because again, that's the only one that is worth anything. And actually that one is the most expensive in Chronicles. That one's 8. So that one is our biggest one. Vivictus Asmati 70, and I don't even know how you say that other last guy because kid can't even read.
Palladium Moors?
Yep. So the other part of this is these are etched. These are etched foils as well. So it isn't.
God damn, they're etched too?
Yeah, they are.
Because like in my mind, I'm like, no, but then it's like,
sorry, let me back it up. They're textured. So it has that little spinny thing that they had on the last set. My brain farting. When they did it with Double Masters. So it has the texture stuff, or it might be the part that the gold part is sticking out. I don't know how they're doing it.
Maybe. Like I have a feeling they're going to be gorgeous.
Yes.
But unusable.
Right.
And only there for nostalgia. So if they pull you and you don't care about money,
right,
then I'd say get them.
So,
is that where we're at?
Yeah, and I did.
But if you do care about money,
here's my guess. Okay,
like don't buy them.
Yes, yeah. If you don't spec on these, I mean, maybe get an extra one and see what happens. Here's my guess. I'm guessing these will be around $10, and except for Nicol Bolas will be 20, and then at some point they'll probably get up to about 20 to 30. is my best guess after a year or two. But they might tank. These might go down to like 5 or 4. I don't know.
Right.
And so I can't really give you a good. I have it as a breakpoint of 3. If it moves, when I was saying the breakpoint 3 is the 2 years down the road. If I think that these are each going to be $20 to $30, then they're a breakpoint of 3. If it doesn't get there, it's too risky for me to say anything. If you want this for your collection and your fun, whatever you want and everything,
unspeccable,
right?
But buyable if you're into it, right? Is that where we're at? It's because it is $10 a card. I think the only potential that there is right there is Nicol Bolas.
Yeah.
The other ones I don't think hit anything higher than 10, like you're saying. Like you're waiting 2 years. There's just so much more better value that Secret Lairs have done.
Yeah.
And so
this is strictly collector. Like that's all it is.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Understandable. Because that's where I'm at. It's like I am pulled towards it because I like those older cards.
Yeah.
But like I for sure don't need them.
Right.
All
right, let's move in. Oh, go ahead.
That's where we're at on this one. This one is specifically named
this one's
Memoriam. Jaya Memoriam. Hold on. Thank you.
Kid can't even read.
In Memoriam, Jaya Ballard foil edition. There is a non-foil edition. If you don't know, spoiler alert, Jaya Ballard is killed.
In this next
story-wise.
set,
She is gone forever.
Is it in this set she gets killed?
Yeah. So Ajani kills her.
Yeah.
Like axes her in the back.
I mean, look at her right here. She's pretty old, so I mean, I get it.
She's old anyway. It's fine. You're acting like a Republican here. It's fine if the
How
old people
dare
die.
you, sir?
Don't worry.
I like her in her
It's just
younger
COVID.
years.
They were
right
gonna
here.
die anyway. So there's we just lost listeners.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the numbers just went down. Oh, dang
definitely,
it.
clearly. All right. Repercussion, which is again where it's a much better value card. One, red enchantment. This is well known. Game ender for wrath effect, blasphemous act. But this is a $20, $30 card. And I have one and I've never played it. Like it's a little too over the top for that. So it doesn't make it our card enough. So this does not make me want to buy this. Also, it's just a picture of Jaya chilling.
Yeah.
Then there's Pyretic Ritual, which is just a ritual. I don't care about that. Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Again, this is like an $100 card in my mind, like totally not worth it. Jaya Ballard Planeswalker, which is the second special edition, because this was in the Mythic edition, if I'm thinking right.
You are correct. It is.
And
Mythic
then
edition.
Pyromancer's Goggles, which is a dope card, but
Actually,
just
it's a
got
pretty good
reprinted
card.
in
Yeah.
Commander sets as well. So
Okay. So
don't
30,
spec.
30 and 40, which by the way, did you say the last one was 50? That was the only one that's 50. Everything else is 30, 40. Non-foils 30, foils are
Good point.
40. This is hot garbage. Hot garbage, guys.
Hot garbage. Don't spec on this. If you like it, if you want to, go ahead.
This is bad. It has a break point of 5. That's not a good break point, and that's kind of pushing it. Repercussion, like Larry said, is the one you go for in this. It really is. It only has one foil printing because it wasn't at Urza's. Is it Urza's is what it's from? Urza Saga or something like that? I don't remember which one it's from.
Yeah.
Or one of those blocks.
Like that.
So it's like it's $129 for that foil, but this is we've seen
it's Destiny. Urza's Destiny.
I
believe.
We've seen these ones that have really old foil printings from a while back, and they don't even get to, it's a fraction of what the old foil print. There's a reason why those are so expensive. The most I would see that one getting to is $20, at the foil printing.
What is the non-foil at currently?
24.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
that makes this most sense to me.
Yeah.
And that'll probably mirror whatever that's doing.
Yeah. So I had this breakpoint of infinity for non-foil and breakpoint of 5 for foils. It's just, it's not really worth it. I mean, if you're doing bundles, which we'll get at the end, then it might be worth it. But other than that,
This
I
is
don't
like a
think you go
singles
for it.
one, but again, like I don't know if I like any of this art either, other than the goggles. Like it's just pictures of Jaya.
Yeah. And you
I'm gonna be
really
honest. I
don't like
really
Jaya.
care about
you
her.
have said that for years at this point.
So
Whenever you get it, you're just garbage.
it's
That's
not my favorite.
All right,
the
let's start
next
getting
one,
into the actual breakpoints that matter, because the last ones here are actually pretty good breakpoints.
Artist Series Nils Ham foil and non-foil editions, and we're talking $30 and $40 respectively. And then so this one has Deep Glow Skate, which doubles counters on everything, Tireless Tracker, which is a favorite of mine, Contagion Engine, which is kind of a staple in -1/-1 counters and proliferate decks. And then you have Sword of Truth and Justice, which is the +1/+1 counter and proliferate. So this is kind of a proliferate deck.
And it has a kid that's in like a costume in the entire thing. I don't know
Yeah,
who
I
that's
don't,
supposed
it
to.
really, I think it's anime-ish, but again, I don't know.
Yeah. So Deep Glow
Is
got
he
up
in
there a
every
while.
one of them?
He's in every single one of them. Yep. Oh, and I just
Hmm.
see, even with the
Okay.
sword, he's in the background right there.
Yeah. So there's maybe something to that. I don't get that one.
Okay, so
I'm too old for this.
the non-foils, again, the Sword of Truth and Justice is that's the money hitter in this one. Although I will say
it?
Contagion Engine, foils of those are about the same as Sword of Truth and Justice. They're both $26, $27. But
Okay.
non-foils of this is a breakpoint of 6, so that's not that good. And I am, just so you guys know, I am adjusting to not with the lowest price that there is, because these are obviously better than just a regular tireless tracker. I think it's going to be higher than your normal tireless tracker, because they are special versions of it. So I kind of adjust for that a little bit when I'm doing this now. So I've changed the way I've done it, where I'm doing actual what happens with secret layers. And so the non-foils are closer to the foils than you would think. Like I don't go just strictly compare to non-foil to non-foil. I actually pull the non-foils up because that's how they do it, or that's how the prices are. So this one has breakpoint of 6 for non-foil, foils breakpoint 3. Your value is about $61 after the fees and shipping and all that stuff. So it's good. It's not amazing.
Right.
Tireless is good. They're all good cards. They're usable cards. All of them are usable. That's kind of the cool thing. But it isn't like a full art, and it's a weird kind of an art, you know? So it's, I don't know if this
like
is
this is something that, like, if I didn't have these cards, I'd buy it.
Yes.
But since I do, I'm not interested.
Yeah. And I don't know if I like the tireless tracker version. Like, I don't know if I like those better.
But again, like if I didn't have it, I was like, oh, this is cool. You could sit down and go and buy the tireless tracker and try and like single it out and whatnot. Like, oh, this is cool. But I think, yeah, it might just be better to go and get I don't know. This is again not something I'm gonna buy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've bought, like, it's cool for a proliferate deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have one, and I haven't made one.
Yeah, it's been a while since my Atraxa.
So,
Did I
been
even
a
have an
while.
Atraxa? Good one. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Next one.
Thanks. All right. So this is going to be Artist Series Victor Adame Minguez. You have a foil and non-foil edition. And this has 4 different cards.
Oh, that art is actually pretty crazy. We got motorcycles in this, and we got like Star Wars type stuff with the little
I was thinking of that black one, the Lord of Undead. It's black, very Mad Max.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So you have Lord of the Undead. That art is pretty cool. Then Knight of the White Orchid, which is, like you said, like Star Wars-ish. You have Knight Exemplar, which gives all knights indestructible. I don't really know what that art is from. And then you have Compost, which is like Shieldred from.
Well, yeah, I guess.
No, I guess it's not Shieldred.
No,
what is the
it's,
Shelob?
Yeah,
There we go.
are you talking about from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shieldred's the Black Phyrexian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, this totally looks like Lord of the Rings. What's her name? Yeah. Her. Yeah.
Shelob. So like again, Knight of the White Orchid would be what pulls me because I play that card. To whereas like Lord of the Undead is very zombie specific,
Yeah.
and Knight Exemplar is very knight specific and much more likely to play a zombie deck. But I also have that card. Compost I've never played. Like it's too specific. Not saying it's bad, but
Right. So Compost,
I
it just
wouldn't buy
doesn't
this one
have
either.
foil printing, so that it's 50, but I didn't put it at 50. I put it at 20. I don't even know if it'd be at that. Lord of the Undead is our big guy in this one. 16 for non-foil, 75 for foil in this one right here. This isn't a full art printing, it's just alternate art stuff. This still has a breakpoint of 3. The value is $59, so it's $2 cheaper than the last one we just talked about. That's after fees and shipping. So again, non-foils, you're looking at infinity. But it might be higher than that, over time or whatever, because it is a special printing.
Mhm.
But I still upped them. Like I went Knight Exemplar 8 and White Orchid 5. Lord is 16. Compost is 5. This one still, it's not like amazing. There isn't.
Right.
If you play zombies, sure, that'd be a cool one to have your Lord of the Undead, but it isn't a legendary, so it's not your commander. It's just a zombie that's in a zombie deck.
Right.
So I don't know. It's whatever. It's a breakpoint.
All right. Next one's going to be Imaginary Friends. You have a foil and non-foil version, 30 and 40 respectively, and this is 4 cards as well. The central figures of it is Purr, Imaginative Rascal, and Toothy, Imaginary Friend. They are partnered with each other, and then they're very cool, like kiddish art. I do like it. And then it also has Matter Reshaper
Let me get back
and
to that
the
one quick.
Gitrog monster.
So I got Matter Reshaper there, kind of a cooler version of that Eldrazi, and then
But
Gitrog.
that one's pennies. It's probably this one's probably worth it. Like they're 3 very playable cards.
This is the most value out of everything we've talked about so far.
Is it? No.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Because
Maybe.
Gitrog is a $35 foil, and I like
All
this version of Gitrog. I like it better than the Judge one that they have out. Where it was a really fat frog or whatever. And then Pier is it's a battle bond. So it's not terribly old. And that's at 30, and Toothy is a $18 card. So you have 3 cards that are about 20 plus. And then you Matter Reshaper is an $8 foil card. So this one gets you $70 after fees and shipping and all that. And it's still a breakpoint of 3. It's close to a breakpoint of 2, but it's a breakpoint 3 in this.
This is the one where I've seen enough, like there's been enough hype here where this is speccable in my mind.
Yeah.
There's 3 playable cards in there.
If I still had
Matter
Gitrog Monster deck, I would want this as my commander. I want this one
Agreed.
because I like Gitrog Monster, but if
It's more gettable at this point. There was just a Judge promo that was printed.
Well, that's what I was saying. I don't like that one's like really fat frog. It's still cool. I always like that one, but it's a really fat frog looking thing. This one is kind of cool and unique where it just looks like a sad Gitrog monster.
Right. It's very Imaginary Friend type thing. This is what your kid's afraid of in the closet or under the bed or something.
The Gitrog monster.
Yeah.
I tell him that story every night before bed. Okay.
No. Nice of you.
All right. So probably the meat and potatoes, the beer and pizza of this whole thing is what we get into next. And let's do it all as one here because they are 5 and 5. But
all right. You have Dan Frazier is back again. The Enemy Talismans, you have a foil or non-foil version.
Back?
And then
back again.
Dan
Frazier. Tell
and then
your
you also
friends.
have the Allied Talismans foiled and etched. They're etched or non-foil. And the talismans they tap for either a colorless or the 2 color pairing that they have respectively, which at this point we're saying every pair, and that deals you 1 damage. They are fantastic. The signets were gorgeous, and the same guy, same stuff that's going on.
The etched
all of them
so
are
amazing.
like a ton, like not a ton, but they're highly
Playable.
and it came with an arcane signet, which I hope they come with again.
Well, I
because
think
I'm gonna fucking use arcane signets like crazy.
T Coates was mentioning the talisman that is the colorless one with the gaining a life.
Yeah, no, I don't.
They know
I'm just saying that could happen.
Yeah.
But I just hope that they stick with arcane signet.
Yeah, I agree because I use signet in every single 2-color plus deck. So
that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now I only bought one of each for the signet.
I did
because
too.
I don't use the signets.
I don't use the talismans much, but you probably
like the talismans in any non-green deck is what I use. That is primarily what I use. And so I plan on
I probably should
3
use them more. I think I go theme more a lot of times and I end up not using them, but yeah, I use these. We've had that staple versus, and I think it was determined that we both use the talismans over the signets more.
And so I also think this has a higher potential than the signets.
Yes.
So
there is, and actually Nick Bundy pointed this out. I didn't realize there's only one of the talismans that has not. Which one was it?
The blue-white one.
Blue-white. So this one, Talisman of Progress, has not been printed, has not caught another printing, where a lot of these were printed in Modern Horizons 2 or have been in Commander decks. So
lately, in the last year.
Yeah. So now the cool thing here is the talismans and the signets are very similar. And I think they are very comparable. And so it was nice to be able to take those prices and use those. Now the signets haven't been out that long, but they range, around $10 for your non-foils and around 15 to 20, some of them a little bit higher. So I kind of was averaging out at about $15 for the foils or for the etched. And I think those will continue to go up because that etched foil, like you mentioned, they did a really good job with this.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah. So
hopefully they just did the same thing with these.
The breakpoint, I think, early on this, and the breakpoint of non-foils are about 4, but the foils early on in this, I think right away you're going to get a breakpoint of 3. I think within a couple of years, this is going to be breakpoint of 2 easily. Like these are going to be 20 plus cards if they don't.
And with the etch foiling, it's just so good.
Yes.
Chance is saying he has none of these. Buy it.
Yes.
If you don't own the talismans, at least get yourself a set of all of them.
Yeah.
Highly suggest it. It's incredible ramp.
The fact that they come
except for the green ones, but still they're not bad.
They're not bad. I mean,
they're not bad.
It's a 2-drop rock that you can just use the colorless part of it. And if you want to use the color part, it's a damage in Commander. That's nothing. Yep. And that's one of our arguments that we had with that.
If you don't have it, I highly suggest you getting this. At least one of. But this is very speccable, like you're saying. Highly used. It's good. That's a good one to get.
Okay, so there's a switch with what they are doing, and I don't know if I can show that. Let's see. I'm going to minimize this so you guys can see. So if you can see at the top for those that are watching YouTube and all of those people that are listening, they are doing it different where they used to do a discount like right off the bat if you're doing the bundles and everything. They aren't doing that anymore. They're more doing it. And I guess I like this better because what they're doing is if people wanted to just spec on one of these, they're giving you a discount on that. So if you spend $50 on a single purchase, you will get 10% off. If you spend $200 or more, you will get 20% off.
Ooh.
So the bundles themselves, as you can see here, the non-foils are $179, basically $180. And that only gives you 6 because you do not get the Showcase, Dominaria, OG, Elder Dragons because those are the textured foils. So $180, you would get 10% off of that. So you're looking at $18 off of that. Might as well just spend another 20 and get 20% off your whole thing, and it makes up for it right there. The full foil bundle is $290, so right away you're getting 20% off. That comes down to $232. And then your bundle. So really quick, the foil bundles gives you 7 of them, so it gives you those the the OG Elder Dragons, and then the bundle has all 13 of them, and that's $470. Personally, I would probably, I might. It's hard because the talismans are the best. Like those are really good, and I want a lot of these, so I might just pull the trigger and do the foil bundle. And then maybe get a couple extra of the talismans because I think that those are good, and maybe sprinkle in the Gitrog one. But this one isn't like one where I'm like go deep on these at all. You know, like I mean the talismans are maybe my only thing. I do like the chat. How do you feel about the change of them doing the 10% off and the 20% off instead of just off the bundles? I think that's a good idea.
I'm happy about it because I was gonna I'm thinking 2 or 3 of each edge foil. I don't know how cheap I'm going to get, but when there's something like that, that really makes me, because I don't like spending more than like 200 on these too much.
Yeah.
Because I don't sell nearly as much as you do. And so if I'm spending that much on the talismans and the other ones are weaker, I am much less likely to buy those. Yeah. The only thing that's really pulling me is those is the original dragons.
Yes, I do.
And I can easily just talk myself out of that.
Yeah,
because they're gorgeous, they're old school, they're nostalgia, but I don't need them. I don't play them.
Right. It's more that is just to look pretty in your binder. That's all they're gonna do.
And vanity, I don't need. I do my best at not allowing vanity to invade my life. So like I can just be like, I don't need those. And I don't need the Jaya one. I don't need the Pure and Toothy one. I don't need any of these. But at the same time, like if some of these you don't have, like if people don't have repercussions, now's the time to look at it. Like see if people flood the market a little bit with that. And if you can get that in the 10 to 15 range, fucking scoop them up. Yeah. Cause it's a $20 card. Right.
That is one. That is the only one out of this that I don't have. Oh, good for you.
That's not a good for you. That's bad. You should get one.
Yeah, but you don't even use it. What do you? What, do
no,
I? Need
I don't. But that's more of like because it's like we'll talk about it a little bit here. But it's a over the top kind of card. Like you play that and Blasphemous Act, you just won the game.
Yeah,
and that's not something that I generally try and do.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But it is a very win card almost no matter what if you're putting it in that kind of deck. And so it's just that play style. I'll probably target Knight of the White Orchid here, but again, that art's a little, I like the art, but maybe not for me.
Yeah. So we're,
and we have proxies of Tireless Trackers, so I don't care.
You have to make a decision right now. What would you be doing if I was like, Larry, you got to do something or nothing? What are you going to do? The time ends.
I'm just buying
5 minutes.
2 minutes or
2 minutes. You're gonna buy 2 minutes.
I'll bring it down. I would just buy 2 of each set of talisman.
Okay.
I'm glad that I just bought one of the signets because I don't use them except for in 2 color decks. But the talismans I use in 2 and 3 color decks and 4. Like I use those just so much more.
Yeah.
And so I got to go through and see, like, it's either 2 or 3 that I'll buy. But again, that's 40, 80, 120, 240, or do I like how much do I want to spend?
Right. And if you're close to that 200, just hit the 200 and get the extra 10% off because that'll make up for it.
Right. That's also true. Now, if they had told me that I'm getting the Arcane Signet, I'd buy 3 apiece.
3 of those. All right.
Yeah, I'd buy 3 apiece if I knew that Arcane Signet. But right now I'll battle back and forth. Like if it's pristine talisman like T Coates is wanting, I'd be like, yeah, that almost turns me off a little bit. You're gonna give me a Stain Walker? I don't care.
Right.
Like, that turns me off. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I got my pride. I got my
a Jumpstart land. Fuck that shit. No, I don't want more of those.
Did you get the Pride ones already? You did, right?
I didn't buy any.
Oh, you didn't? Well, these are my bonus cards right here. Fucking
that's
Huatli. I got 5 Huatlis of the stained glass planeswalkers. Just garbage. Come on now.
It's fine.
mean, that was our biggest just secret layered one because it had some D-bags that jumped on and hated on Bearscape. And give us something more than just those, the Whatleys. Anyways, if I had to choose in the next 5 minutes and pull the trigger, I probably do the full art foils or the foils at 232. That's after the 20% discount. I don't know if I think I would go in your route too and probably get an extra of the talismans and maybe the Gitrog. But maybe I may just do the foils and take a loss on this one because there isn't any. I want the elders, but I don't have to have them like you said. Jaya, I need one card out of there. And then I guess the others is FOMO stuff where it's like, I like this for the collection, but the talismans I want, you know, if I had to just choose something to take out of this, it would be talismans.
I think Repercussion has a bit of like the Concordant Crossroad
Concordant
a little bit.
Concordant
Crossroads.
Concordant.
Like, it's a really good card. It's expensive. It hasn't been printed in forever. So if you went deep on Concordant Crossroads, like you potentially could do that as well here, but maybe they're gonna reprint it like they did in Double Masters with Crossroads.
Double. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on from this because we are at an hour. Like normally we like try to wrap up. Like back in the day on our short before live podcast, we would wrap it up about this point.
Should we pay our debt? Our last one.
Are probably let me get it. Where is it? Button. A Smith always repays the debts. Friday short. Repay debts. A Smith
Always pays his debts.
Next to another
Wiener. I just like how it ends. Wiener.
Wiener.
Everything else is boobies, and we end with a wiener. Let me get to our main. Oh, wait. Are we showing anything here? No, we're just going to be us talking so we can get the chat going there.
This donation is from a Mr. Sampson. We appreciate you to the fullest, just like a shot of Malort.
Ugh. All right, here we go. Motherfucker.
Whoa. Yeah, it definitely gets worse as you just.
I don't look forward to the podcast anymore because of this. I'm just kidding. This is bad.
Because I ran out of cold stuff, and so like the warm is way worse.
That's what she said.
Cold's not good.
Ugh.
But warm is.
Oh yeah. All right. I don't know if I have a just the tips button ready because I kind of would consider that this
is going to go long. For this deck building.
I wish she said that.
Oh, Cranker Dank
Concordant. All right. Canker Dank. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Into your eyes, tell me what it is you see.
Good one. All right. Why don't you hit I don't know. We already did the
what?
We already
do we not have just the tips? Did we lose that button?
We didn't lose it. I just didn't load it. I have wow. I have Friday.
It's Friday.
That's not appropriate. How about we do
Hello, boobies.
There you go.
What about
Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
Yeah, I'm down with that one.
All
That's
right.
a good one.
Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
All right. So that when Kevin McAllister is talking about that, he's really talking about your deck. And
that's good. I am impressed with you, sir. That is you are.
It doesn't happen often.
You are a genius.
So
I don't know if it's the Malort talking or that you were just one sexy beast.
Yeah, it's probably the Malort.
I pissed off Renshai because I played the Friday button.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So let's how are we gonna spin this? I don't even know.
Okay, I don't either because we spent so much. Remember I said I wanted the secret layer to be within 10 minutes. We did not do well with that. That was like a 30-minute thing.
That was 30 minutes.
Yeah, so that's not going on
Okay.
TikTok like I was planning on doing. So that's just going to be a YouTube
That's all right.
exclusive. Okay, so I guess the best way we have roughly what 1, 2, 3, 4 like things to look at when you're tuning up. Let me back this up a little bit. That actually goes to Renshai of what triggered this idea is that he mentioned he was wondering when we were going to do a Discord, if we were going to do a Discord match where they were higher powered decks. And I was like, well, what are some like tips what could Renshai do to his deck to make it so he could play his Prosh deck? Because that's what he wants to play is his Prosh deck. And so that's when we kind of started going back and forth with how would you tune down a deck and also tune up a deck. Like if your deck just feels a little underpowered for your play group, what are some things you can maybe help to get it up there so you're competing with everybody? So we're going to they kind of go hand in hand. So when we talk about tuning down, that's also how you tune it up a little bit. So we're going to we got 4 categories to kind of look at. And this might be shorter because we did go pretty long with the secret layer stuff, but we'll just toss around ideas.
At least an hour.
Yeah. So why don't we, so there's 4 main things. What do we have, like working with your mana. You mentioned the speed.
Wait.
Or do we want to just work the mana first and then kind of work our way down?
All right. Well, okay. I'll list off what I have. Because we have, okay, whatever. What do you want to do? Well, we got 5. We'll talk about the 5 different aspects of it.
You got 5?
We end up coming up with 5. There might be more. If you're like, hey, what about this aspect?
Yeah, put it
and
in
if
comments.
we get like 3 or 4 more, we can make another segment out of this.
Yeah.
So
but we have all our segments.
No, Cole is completely right when he's saying cut food chain.
Yes.
That is completely right. But at the same, like, it depends on what you're trying to do. And that's the point of this segment, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want to start with? You pick one that you want to talk about.
I think the easy
Let's
thing,
save the last one that we came up with for last.
Okay. I think the easy thing to hit right away is your mana base, right? I mean,
Agreed.
That's something you can adjust up or down. So if you're looking to increase, should we do the increasing first and then decreasing?
Whatever you want, man.
All right. We're just winging it. I mean, we're Malort.
Yeah, that's
We're 3 Malorts in this.
we're
No fucking hot jelly beans. Yes.
yeah. How about this? Yeah, no, I think it's a lot smoother.
Yes.
Along with more bitter with just being Malort. But
okay, so if your deck is underpowered, you feel like it's not, maybe check your lands out first. See, if you have too many tapped lands, if you have any tapped lands, I mean, besides temples, which Lowry and I like, we played those in our
right, and we get shit about it in our Discord.
Hey, Discord, guess
constantly.
Guess who the last 2 people standing in the Discord game was?
Right. Yep.
Temple players.
Because okay, so with Savala deck, where I said that they went like Soul Ring and Arcane Signet into yada yada yada, and You're Dragging Me Down went into, I believe, a Soul Ring into something else.
No, he went,
and me and Adam,
he did land tax, and he
did land tax, which is a big play,
and Esper Sentinel turn 1. He did Esper Sentinel turn 1 into land tax turn 2 off of an Esper Sentinel draw. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was both of them were crazy.
Larry and
me and Adam both did temples. Both did temples. And we were both 1 and 2.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that like temples are the more powerful play. Like clearly those two just had a better start.
We're just talking shit because
we're talking shit. That's what's going on.
I have a microphone and you don't. No, just kidding.
But that's something to look at, right? There was a game where me and Adam were just playing Commander 1-on-1. He was playing Rashmi, where green blue every turn, and I was playing Brea, and I decided to, like, sometimes I play fast. It was like turn 3 or 4, and I didn't think Adam was going to be able to lock down the board yet. I had removal in hand, and I decided to like make sure that we were speeding up, and I just went fetch, shock, into play, tapped. Well, I could easily have went
To
and
life.
got a duel and not had any issue.
Or
Like,
that's a good point. Yeah.
One thing that I do is early game, I go and find a shock land, come in and play tap, and then I don't have to worry about
It later,
getting shock
when
later
you
on
get
in the
it. Yep.
game when it doesn't matter. That's when you want to be playing tap lands, is when it just doesn't really, like, late game it can kind of hurt you. You don't want too much, but it lost me the game. It literally lost me the game by doing that.
See, I don't even remember
Because we
it.
were playing some high powered game right there, and it was just 1v1. He was able to just focus in on me with counter spells and stuff like that.
Counter spells, don't use that like I use a counter spell.
No, you're playing that buyback counterspell thing.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was fucking brutal.
It fit with
Paradox
the theme.
Engine was
It
legal
fit with
then.
the
It was
theme.
fucking awful.
Yeah, it
I
was
think you were
bad.
playing Prophet of Kruvix. It was just a broken deck at that
it was
point.
really bad. That was
So, but the point of the story is, if you're playing a bunch of tapped lands, you're a turn slow.
yes. You're taking a turn off almost.
Yep. And if you're playing fetches and duels and stuff that can come into play untapped, very efficient and stuff like that, you're a turn ahead or two of the people that are playing tapped lands. Both are good.
Yes.
You just need to aim for where your play group is, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing that you need to look at sometimes, like, one reason our play group doesn't all have duels, and that's okay. Me and Adam do. And so I generally
good for us.
Can that be a button?
Yeah. just us.
depressing,
Just good for us.
But, like, I generally go for shocks because they're
I would
not
just say
as,
build a better
like,
deck.
they're not as bullseyeing. You can have them come into play tap, so you're not being super efficient. But fetches are probably the real power move right there anyway. But people see a duel and they're like, oh, fucking duels. Oh, that's what
Right.
we're doing.
This is what game we're playing now.
This is the game we're playing. We're playing duels. Like that happens. But really, fetches are the best. And we've done that in stable versus as well. And I should have won at a much larger margin. This is probably the one that we disagree with most out of all those.
It is. It's
And-
just because you're salty. It took you so long to get your duels, and you just now have them. It's fine.
True.
It's whatever.
Truth. It's more about you stealing guys' cradles from me when we were kids. But just theft. You were a year older than me. You took advantage of me.
You knew how to add and subtract before I knew how to.
I'm probably multiplication. No, that's not true. My education before fifth grade was lacking. And I know it's weird, but I'm the only reason I'm here today at this point is because I got shocked the shit out of on a mower. So
what?
Okay, random story. I was an idiot.
Please.
I'm one of those kids that they kept in at recess because I was so behind on my reading. Like, I did not read. I did not like it. And then somehow going in between fourth and fifth grade, okay, again, we were pretty poor. And so our mower, when you lifted the like shut off handle thing, like that special thing, that did not turn off the mower. And so we had to take a screwdriver and disconnect the spark plug.
Oh.
And again, I said that I was an idiot. I forgot to grab the screwdriver. And I just grabbed the spark plug.
Oh my God.
And I did the literal cartoon shit where I like was in the next thing and fell off. And after that, I was more intelligent.
It sparked your brain cells.
Right. It's fucking stupid. But I credit every intelligent thought that I've ever had to touching a spark plug.
And that was how old
that's
were
what
you
it
at
is.
that point?
I was like fourth grade, like going the summer
And you were,
going into
at that
fifth
point,
grade.
you were like, Keldon Warlord was a bad trade for Gaia's Cradle.
I instantly knew you just got me. You cheated me. I was like, Adam!
Damn you, Scuba Steve.
So yeah, that's a weird story randomly. What were we talking about?
This
So
episode's gonna be 3 hours long. for a quick turnaround episode. This is great, guys.
Yeah, we're at that third shot of Malort. Really, it gets us over the top.
Yeah.
But okay, what it is if you're playing tap lands, understand you're playing a slower game, and that's okay, depending on whoever you're playing against. And if you're playing a fast, like if you feel like you're always a turn or two too slow, look at your mana base. Do we also, I think we can add this in here. Let's see here.
I had utility lands adding more, like, so my tune ups was adding what you were just saying there. We less tap lands, fetchable things, planning that out a little better. Adding utility lands, but to tune down would be the opposite, is maybe play more basics. Like go for more basics. Don't use lands for me, and I believe you, are one of the most important things. Utility lands are your free spells in a way. If you can find, that's why that new fucking land that just got spoiled, which we're not doing spoilers yet, but that adds protection to your commander, is such an amazing card that they add that's in this next set. Having the utility lands to do things that you're lacking in your deck makes up for some of the things that you might not have. So if you already have a really high powered deck, if you want to tune it down, maybe just grab more basics, get rid of some of those utility things. Maybe not necessarily play tapped lands, but maybe just play more basics. I did put in here play more tap lands, but tap lands, just, you shouldn't play them.
I don't know if we kind of plan on redoing a little bit of our blueprint here in the future, next month or two. But I think we can talk about a little bit, like when we're talking fetch lands, we're talking about the good ones.
Yes.
There are bad fetches you can run.
The slow fetches, which are in this set, right? Some of the slow fetches.
Yeah.
Which they come into play tapped, and then you get to go search for the land type, which you could.
And I would not suggest them at all. They're awful. But you know what I mean? We could talk about like Fabled Passage. I think Terramorphic Expanse and
Evolving Wilds.
There's not terrain generator, but there's the one that taps and puts two basics into play tapped. There is Evolving Wilds.
Isn't it like a Myriad
landscape? Myriad landscape.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think those are very reasonable fetches that aren't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think the slow fetches are pretty bad.
Yeah.
But again, you could look at it and be like, I'm playing these already bad fetches and I'm better than everybody else. You could potentially turn it down a notch that way as well. And we'll discuss this in a different section as well, but look at the budget. Like if you're spending $20, $30 on $40, $50 on fetches, and everybody else is spending 20 cents,
then
you're just going to be better than their decks in general, like a better flow.
Yeah.
Here's an example is Savant. When I was building it, I'm kind of out of like my proxies, and so I was fitting.
I know a guy.
I do too, and but I probably have the proxies over there, just not made. They're
printed out.
A couple of pages that I haven't done.
I have a couple of those sitting here too.
And so once I finish those, then I'll start bugging you again. But I could just fucking tell, like when I was just fitting in these cards, I was like, these are kind of close, and I haven't done that in a long time, probably like 3 years. And I was like, this is awful. I fucking hate this deck. I thought it was the deck, and I was like, okay, let's make sure the land base is all right. And I was like, you know what? This is a lot smoother. I'm happier with this. It's crazy the difference once you get a land base of just I don't think you need duels. I think they're really expensive, and I totally understand why you wouldn't get them. But if you're like, make sure you get like the Battle for Zendikar lands, like the triomes that you can go and fetch, and they get you 3.
The shock lands you need to have.
Yep. And absolutely get fetches.
Yes.
And I know you can run a ton of fetches. I prefer 5 to 6.
I do 5.
You do 5. I count Ash Barrens as a fetch as well. That's one that you can easily run. I run in every deck Ash Barrens, Fabled Passage and Canopy or Vista Canopy, Canopy Vista.
Prismatic Vista.
Yeah, Prismatic Vista.
Yeah.
Yes. And so like those are worse versions, you know, they're getting basics, but those are technically a tune down from the polluted Delta type cards, right?
Yeah.
And I love them. I know that I could feel the power if I just switched out those 3 and put in 3 normal off color fetches. Like it'd be a power up, but I'm very happy with just those 6. Like generally it's 3 on color fetches, 3.
That's because you play 3. You play 3 colors typically. Yeah. And I'm, so I'm normally a 2 color guy and I do 3, 1 on color fetch, 2 off color fetches, and Fabled and Prismatic. So those are my 5. This is a segment that we are actually we are working on. That is going to
you're gonna hear this again.
You're gonna get a blueprint of all this stuff later.
There are variations that you can do on your land base. Work on that if you feel like you're too slow or too fast.
Yep. So that is the first thing to kind of touch on. Yeah. Why don't you hit the next topic of tuning up and tuning down?
All right. Let's talk about your card choices within a deck. If you want to tune up, I know it's the boring thing, but go and look at the staples, the expensive cards.
Good job. That was we didn't talk about that one in our texting back and forth, but that is one of the key things I was going to say. Yep. Okay, keep going.
And that's the easiest thing. If you're going like, oh, this isn't a lot of decks, you can look at EDH Rec and it's in 190,000 decks. What fucking card is that? Is Blood Crypt? That's used a lot. I should think about
it's in 152,000.
Oh, it's 150. I was upping it. Sorry. So, but like if you look at the more expensive cards, more than likely that's going to improve it.
Not expensive, but well, I guess expensive, but then also played.
Right.
Yeah.
There are cards that are played a whole ton, but if they're reprinted, the price will reflect that as well. So, but in general, so one thing that I do is if I feel like a deck does not have enough draw, that's when I'm going to go and consider Rhystic Study.
Yeah.
Or Sylvan Library or
like
Necropotence
right there,
or you know, those really, really good draw spells. I try and avoid them until I go, you know what, I actually need it in this deck because there isn't enough support within the idea of Umbrisk, which is Nightmare Horrors. There just isn't enough draw within that theme. And I'm running out of cards. And so I need stuff that's going to fill my hand and keep it moving because I know that I'm running. If I can't win by turn 6 or 7 or somebody kills Umbrisk, I'm just done.
Yeah.
Right. Or Dockside Extortionist, right, Cole? Like each of them have these ideas, these staples. Smothering Tithe, like you're saying.
Mystic Remora's in there.
Mystic
we got
Remora,
Dockside for the ramp, but that's more of the ramp. We'll get into that in a little bit.
And so when you're looking at the cards you want to choose, it depends on the speed of the game that you're playing, the power level of the game that you're playing, and if you have a certain group, it's really nice to be able to tune to that group, because if nobody's running Rhystic Study, you probably shouldn't be running Rhystic Study
because it's going to be way overpowered.
Yeah. And that's where people are going, and they're going to not care. They're going to be like, well, I'm not paying the 1. And then you're drawing 2 to 4 cards per turn because more than likely they're less efficient. So they're not casting. Each of them aren't casting 2 to 3 spells per turn. They're playing 1 to 2.
Yeah. And
that changes the aspect as well, but you're still going to win that game. You're just going to win that game if they're not paying the 1.
Yeah. The flip side of that whole thing is to tune down of it is play more theme. So that's what I do a lot lately is I build the deck and I'm like, okay, I need my draws and I need I need my draws to fit with what the theme is doing. So it's kind of like, let's see, how do I say Kaima, or for example, I'm using that with the draw is a lot of playing enchantments and drawing off the enchantments because that's what the theme is doing. But then you play it through and I'm running out of cards. The theme is not working as well for drawing. Then you realize, okay, I need to fit in actually the staples. Now let's go get the Sylvan Library. Let's go get Miri's Guile didn't necessarily put in there, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Magda.
Yeah, right. You go, but no, I don't put Magda in there. But you know what I'm saying? Then to tune up or tune down, go more towards theme. If your deck is just killing it too much, you probably have all the top draws and best staples and all that the top EDH Rex stuff. So flip it over to fit into what your deck is actually doing. And that is a good way. You're still getting your draw in, but it's making it a little more difficult, or not difficult, but just fitting in the theme more.
I mean, it is making it more difficult. Let's be honest. Like this is kind of when you're talking about tuning down, and when we had the discussion on what we do, no counters, no tutors, no combo. That's all powering down our decks on purpose. Yep. And you like, I can understand that I'm going to go into a game and I can easily lose the combo. That's going to happen. And that's how some people play. Now, if we did that more in our meta, like in our play group, I'd add a lot more counters if I was losing the combo. I'd much rather play counter spells than play combo.
Yes.
Because it makes a game more linear, more like a play style.
It's a removal more than the game. Right. Just yeah.
And so, but like when you're talking about tuning down on your card choices, I think you're right. You can aim towards theme or the more budget version. You know, like Swords to Plowshare and Path to Exile are fantastic cards, but there is other white removal.
Yes,
but it's worse.
Right. For the most, yep.
And so if you have a one thing, like example, Savant, since I'm just playing it, I don't have much spot removal for creatures in there. I took those out because I'm more wrath based. Mm-hmm. My deck would be better if I had Path and Swords in there. It just would. I'd be able to deal with exiling creatures, anything indestructible. It's more efficient. I can recast it from my graveyard a lot better, but it would take away from my theme, like you're saying, of damage wraths.
Right.
There's only so much creature removal that I can have in the deck, and in that deck, I'd rather have it be creature damage wraths.
Yeah.
Right. So those are things that you don't have to just sit back and be like, well, I have to have Swords and Path because it's a white deck, and it can easily fit in 5 color decks. The goddamn cards are so good.
Rarely play Path and Swords just because I do theme a lot.
Yeah.
But what to give another example of what you're saying there is when I was building Akiri, which Akiri has actually turned into a pretty powerhouse deck for me right now. It's very fun to play. It doesn't, tax people where the people don't like playing it. It's a good deck. But in the early stages, I realized I didn't have enough. I was doing too much theme with treasures and making artifacts and removal because I was using like things that were artifacts that came in and removed stuff, and it was too slow. Mm-hmm. And so then I took those out and added in like Heliod's Intervention, which is a awesome card. And now that has made it in every single white, since then it just goes in white decks because it's an instant speed removal. So I added that, and it was a huge change. I got away from that. I went from Akiri being probably, if you were like numbering things, it was like more of like a 5 to maybe a higher 7 of a deck, just adding in. What I did was actually go to EDH Rec and be like, all right, what removals? I want bigger removals. I like spot removal, but I like to hit more than just one thing. And so that was one of the first things I saw on there. I was like, oh yeah, Heliod's Intervention is fucking fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But okay, like let's consider that Heliod's Intervention. I would say if you're in a green-white deck, the better choice is Aura Shards.
Yes.
Which is whenever a creature comes into play, you can destroy any artifact.
If you're playing creatures, if you for some reason are in a green deck and you're not playing creatures, these are a white deck. But yes, I agree.
Yeah. And so the question ends up being like, when I was talking about repercussions earlier and aura shards here, those cards can be oppressive or game ending, and they create this like I'm fucked moment rather than oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean there? It's like, you remember when like Iona used to come down and
There's nothing we can do.
name green and you're
Yeah,
mono
you're
green,
done. Yep.
you're just done. That's not a oh shit. It's a fucking
Well,
God
now
damn it.
I can't play anymore.
I'm done. Like there's no like I'm not even gonna sit at the table. And those kind of cards, when you have aura shards down, that's that kind of card that's going to end the artifact enchantment deck
Right.
or a deck rather than control them for a turn, set them back a little bit. There's that difference.
Yeah.
Even a Vandal Blast is not nearly as powerful as an aura shard
Because
on the battle.
it's there and gone. Then you can keep playing. The fact that when you have an aura shards out, it's like, well, 90% of my hand no longer works. I cannot play any of these cards because they're obviously going to get targeted as soon as they play their creatures, and they're probably playing a creature heavy deck and just wiping the board with that. Yeah.
Tokens. So like your card choices matter.
Yeah.
And when you pick the top staples or the top cards that are just amazing, you could really be oppressing your play group, or you might not be keeping up with them. Right. So and again, when it comes to card choices, look at your budget. Are you looking for budget decks? Do you want to go and watch Commander Quarters? No, but you can go through.
You said his name. It's like Beetlejuice. Don't say it 2 more times. Or
I won't.
this.
You can go look at pocket change, but don't. Just you can easily just
2 times
go
a
look
nickel.
at like Card Kingdom or EDH Rec and look at
Anybody
comparables. You can do
He
that.
doesn't even do budget anymore. He just is
I
a
know, but he
clickbaity
doesn't do
guy.
anything special. Budget was never a special thing. It was just for lazy people. And as many numbers as he got, there's a lot of lazy people out there.
That's
all I'm saying.
Americans, right? I mean,
I'm
that's,
just fucking attacking people now, losing it.
we haven't battled against him for a bit now, so it's about due. I think it was like
It's been
spring.
fine. Nobody sent us anything about it.
That's really, we don't watch his stuff. We don't have anything, so it's just only when people are like,
I have
"Hey,
the time for this
did you
stuff.
see that he stole some more shit from you guys, motherfucker?"
Motherfucker. The only reason we're mad about it is because of everybody that listens. Fuck you guys. That's what it is.
Right.
Fuck the messenger.
Uh,
So card choices is important. Look at what you're doing. And the easiest thing to do is look at your staples or the budget cards that you're choosing and trying to upgrade or downgrade when you're trying to tune your deck to what you're playing against.
I don't know if we have time for
That's it.
staple verses, dude.
I don't know.
I think we have to skip that this week because I think we are just gonna run out.
Oh my God.
Well, we're almost at
This is-
2
I
hours.
like this one. All
No,
right.
I dig
All right.
this. So
What's
let's
the
just keep
next one? Which
going.
one do you wanna
We're
go over?
really quick. We're skipping staple verses this week. It will be our next week's topic, so there won't be voting this week, but next week we'll get that
All
going. All right. So, do you want to talk about speed? The speed.
Let's talk
again?
about speed. Let's
Okay.
talk about speed.
So basically, how fast you hit your combos, or if you have combos, ramp, mono rocks, all that stuff. How consistent does your deck do its thing? I guess if we're doing a tune, are we going tune up first, right? Tune up, you need to add more ramp in, add more rocks in, add more things to get it so you're going like if your deck's very slow, it's most likely that you don't have enough of these 2 main things.
Right.
The ramp, and that's the thing that I, up until recently, Larry, we've grown as a podcast, and Larry has made me grow that way. Is I had my mono rocks, and I had my go-to staples of those, and that was pretty much it. But I've added so many more, especially once we did that blueprint episode. I tried to hit that mono rocks and ramps thing, and it makes my decks more consistent. I don't get I don't get mono screwed very often at all. Like I can't even remember the last time I've gotten mono screwed. It's been since I was in my old house, you know, where literally where I guess there was one a couple of years ago. Remember I drew 14 cards with no land or anything in a row.
Arcades.
Yeah. Where I was like, I was Sylvan Library, right? Remember I was drawing extra.
That was fucking brutal.
I killed myself. But I mean, that was just unlucky. That wasn't like with the mono.
You had a Tolsmere game like that too, I think.
Probably.
That the one you're specifically talking about, I think it is Tolsmere.
Yeah.
That was at Trombley's, I think.
Yeah, where it just was like, all right, 8 life. It was like 14 cards before I hit a land.
Yeah.
But that's just you get
Crazy.
screwed sometimes. But the big thing with speed is, I mean,
You got the arena shuffler for you right there.
In real life arena shuffler.
Yeah.
So if you feel like your stuff is too slow, just you probably are low on your mono rocks and your ramp, and you need to kind of check that out. Vice versa, if you're very high powered, maybe bring those down a little bit, right? I mean, everything here is one way or the other. So if you're trying to tune it down, maybe tune down the ramp and the rocks.
It's the thing to think about.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about like types of ramp, speed of ramp. We were talking about this on the Discord this week, but apparently CEDH, and I understand this part, but if you're listening to CEDH people, they're going to say like anything 3 or above for ramp is not ramp. That's not going to be fast for you. That kind of was like, well, in a general sense, if it's something that gets you ahead on mana, that's ramp. And it just depends on what you're trying to do within your deck, right? I personally rarely use 3 mana ramp. And so I'm in the idea of what they're saying.
Yeah.
But telling people that that's not ramp, I don't think that's necessarily right. Again, CDH is kind of a different animal as well, but it's very black and white when it comes to that. But okay, so let's say you have 1-2 CMC ramp. You're getting from your early game into your mid game at a quicker pace.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the 3 to 5 range, you're going from your mid game to your late game.
Yep.
And then there are some cards that just, like what is it, Boundless Realms or something that puts for each land that you have, you can go and search a land and put that into play. Like that gets you into your fucking over the top land. Like
I'm going to win the game.
Yeah. The next turn, you obviously have some huge X spell that you're going to end the game with. And if we don't beat you here, it's done. Like that's the step of the game where you're at. And so it just depends on what your deck is trying to do, right?
Yeah.
If you have if you have a fat deck, which again is all right.
Lucky.
But
that's what I have to say.
Think of Nikia. Nikia is 5 mana, but when it came down, all your land added 1. So like doubled your mana production for, single lands. And you went from your mid game into your late game instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And if people weren't further into their mid game than you had a really good shot of winning if they didn't wrath. And that's where you were. So again, 5 mana ramp is not bad. Gilded Lotus is not bad. It just depends on the speed that you're able to get to that, along with what do you have at your top end.
Yes.
And
what your deck is doing. If you're a low CMC deck,
yep.
And
you don't need Nikia.
Right. Well, I was just going to say, you hit that 5 mana ramp and it's like, this is kind of a waste in my hand because it's not really helping me. But if you have
5 mana is the tops of what I'm doing.
Right.
Like you don't need crazy ass ramp like that. You don't need something that's doubling the amount of swamps that you have.
Right.
If everything is under 5.
But if you have high CMC everything, then that is actually adding into your game, especially with your commander. If your commander's a higher CMC, it's probably going to die, and you're going to need those higher mono rock things that'll keep allowing you to cast it and replay it and everything.
And so that's just ramp. And the other thing that we're thinking about is just, and you brought this up earlier, is combo. If somebody can win out of nowhere within the first half hour, that's a really fast game.
Yes. Remove it.
But that's if your play group isn't doing that, you just got to kill that combo. You should not be doing that if people are getting upset with it. And they're like, that deck's too good, or
Remove
and
that
if you
food
just go,
chain.
right, just food chain. There are obvious offenders that we all know about it. Either Phyrexian Altar, Ashnod's Altar, those two.
And if
Repercussions,
and
like that is a card that is just like, ugh.
If you're trying to like, if that taking that card out of your deck makes it so your deck can't win,
I would just say build a better deck.
True. If somebody removes it, and you're like, well, I can't win.
You need to make
you probably
you have a one-trick pony, is what that is.
Yeah.
Is you're probably tutoring, and that is always how you're winning. You watch your mouth. He's talking about food chain, is what Renshai is talking about.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to the last couple here. What is the next one that we kind of got to take a look at for some tune up, tune down?
Let's talk about consistency on this one.
Yep.
So when we look at this, we want to talk about like a card advantage engine, or where are you? And one thing that we have talked about, where we were talking about, is you can tutors.
Yep.
If you can tutor up your combo, if you can tutor up your ramp that you needed, if that allows you to be just as efficient as possible and get you what you need when you need it, that makes a more consistent deck.
And when we say we don't like using tutors, it doesn't mean you can't use them. Like, if this is a way that is helping you get your deck up to the level of your play group, of your meta, use tutors. And you can use tutors. There's not a problem with using tutors, but it's vice versa. If you're hitting your combo, you're hitting what your deck is doing every single time, and you're playing tutors, take them out, because your deck is hitting that every single time. So it is back and forth with the tutor stuff. But a good replacement for this, if what we've talked about, is, go ahead,
just drawing more cards, which is kind of crazy too. That's the tune down. The tune down is drawing more cards.
Yeah.
And I would never suggest, if you're drawing, maybe you can fight me on this, but if I said you're drawing too many cards and your play group hates it, you can draw less cards. That, I don't like saying that.
No, you need to draw.
I would, that's
Lots
where I would say, tell your group, like more than likely tell your group they need to start drawing more cards. And you could do that for any tune-up thing too, but drawing is one of the most important things you can do in the game. And it's hard for me to say draw less cards.
No,
just understand where I'm coming from there. I can say become less consistent with tutors. Let's use I have two examples for tutors where I have used them, and I can get where people are like, that's fucking.
You said tutors so much, and I didn't do this once.
I'm not adding any of those fart noises.
I just made up for it right there.
I used to, with Vivicta's Asmati, I wanted to be able to get the appropriate card that I wanted to cheat into the battlefield, which could mean more damage, more protection, whatever it needed to be. Also in Yidris, which is a Cascade deck, it allowed me I was able to tutor for something to go to the top, and then I'd be able to cascade into the most efficient card that I wanted based off of whatever was in my hand. And when you're talking about Yidris, or like, those are supposed to be chaos commanders, a little bit like, what am I going to flip? What am I going to cascade into? And that stuff can be a lot of fun. And what I was doing was taking the consistency and adding it in. I was taking the chaos out of what was going to happen. And that I was adding consistency into my decks. And it was more fun for me, but less fun for people, because I was able to just
do the same thing.
Are you tokens? I'm going to be able to get this token answer. Am I getting through with a lot of damage? I was going to be able to double that damage. Like,
it kind of reminds me of Magda in a way, where it's always, I'm able to, what am I needing for this answer? Okay, I can go, I know I'll get a lot of shit from the Discord with that, because it is a tutor
It's a tutor deck.
It's a tutor
Yeah, okay.
commander. It always has the answer of what I need, and I have it built in through that. And so it's fun for me, but it isn't necessarily fun for everybody else because there is an answer for everybody. So your biggest thing you're saying is we were saying add more tutors was to add the ramp up, but also I think that's a positive for the draw though too. I know you're saying less draw. What were you saying with the less draw though? You weren't saying.
I was just saying if you're trying to power down your deck, don't draw as much.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
So like that.
Yeah.
That feels wrong saying that. That's something more like.
That's funny. On my list here, I have like ups and downs when you're tuning down. I have 0 suggestions for tuning down on that, except for don't play tutors. Like that was the only thing I wrote. I didn't say
like
don't
adding the
not
draw in.
Like draw just needs to be added.
Okay, so another thing that you can do for consistency, like within your deck, which is a theme part of what are you trying to do with your deck, and instead of having the most efficient answers, okay, a bad example, but I love it in my Kelsian deck, but the Scalding Salamander. And it can attack and it deals 1 damage to all non-flyers. You put Death Touch on it and it's a wrath, essentially, right? Now, there are 2 other cards that do that same effect, but they're 5 mana, right? Consistency would be the ability to do what that, like work with the Death Touch equipment that are within that deck. And so those cards, I can put those in there if I want that effect to continue to happen. Or I can take those out because I know they're pretty inefficient compared to Scalding Salamander, and I can fit in other cards in there that are going to allow me to do, either drawing or more Death Touch effects or more pinging effects. So like those are the balance, which are less CMC. I guess another consistency part is what is your curve?
Right.
And so like if your curve, again, if you're a fat deck, understand that your consistency is going to be a little tougher to do because you need a X, Y, and Z game plan, which is ramp, draw into your big spells, and then play your big spells while everybody else is potentially going, I'm going to do this, this, and this on this turn, and then this, this, and this on this turn. Like they're doing a lot more. So it's the consistency is where is your play group playing their spells? Like if you're playing against a play group that all of them are playing 2 to 4 spells per turn and you're going 1 to 2, you're going to lose. You're not fast enough. That's one of those consistency things of what is your curve? What are you doing every turn? And are you perfectly doing it? Are cards getting stuck into your hand? If cards are being stuck in your hand, then that means that your curve is too high and you need to add more ramp. Are you running out of cards? That means that your ramp is too strong or your curve is so low that you're running out of cards. So that means you need to add more draw.
Yeah.
And that's all playing into consistency and how the deck works. I aim for 3 to 4 cards in my hand at all times. And I want to be playing 2 to 3 spells per turn. Like, remember at the end of that game with Savant, how many draw spells did I cast?
You cast a lot to try to get the answer.
Right. I was, and at the end, I was like, well, I'm not going to have enough mana to do this thing, but I still need to draw. I think I cast 4 draw spells that turn.
What's funny is because before that, I was trying to decide to kill you or to kill dragging me down. And I think at that point you only had 1 card in your hand, but it was a draw spell that that had flashback. So you're able to draw again and draw again and draw again. So I didn't kill you. I went for dragging me down because I was like, he has a couple more cards.
Right.
But you had a lot of draw stuff. You had it ready to try to find that answer. And it's crazy how often that happens where the last ditch effort, you find that answer because your deck is built to have answers. And you went through how many cards in that last?
I drew 7 to 8 cards.
It's insane. But
and I knew on that last one where I drew 2, I knew I wasn't going to be able to play whatever I drew. I don't think I knew that you had a flying, which I think
no,
you ended up
I
doing
played
later.
it, and then Duke gives it haste, so then that just goes into play.
That's right.
and-
It was
yeah,
AO or something. Yeah. So like those are the things that you should be considering. Like everything that I was just kind of going through is like, what is your deck doing? Again, if you run out of cards consistently, your deck isn't going to work. You're just going to be sitting there, and that sucks during a game. If you're sitting there and just going land pass, that means you're not doing anything. So that means you need more ramp. And being able to consistently play within your play group, I highly suggest, again, look at what the other guys are doing in your group. And that was probably sexist, but the other people in your group, you should be seeing what they're doing. If they're playing 1 or 2 spells, it's okay not to go super fast, right? So those are things that you should be looking at, considering within your play group. If you are going to go and play competitive, understand, be as fast as possible, draw as many cards as you can, and have the combo or whatever you need to have happen.
Yep. And that kind of leads us into the last point of resilience. This is basically your protection, your removal, your interaction with other players. So like Larry just said, they're drawing into stuff, but then having answers. Whoop, hit my microphone. Having answers like counter spells, removal, spot removal, mass removal, but then also protecting your things to power up. Add more of those things in there. Really, if you're playing blue, or saying maybe add some counter spells in there, but adding in more remove. Like I think that what happens for every player, a lot of players, including myself, is you get so in tune with this is what my deck is doing, and I want it to do this thing, and we stay with this within this theme, and then you forget that there are 3 other players that you need to figure out. You're also needing to stop them from doing their thing. Everybody's trying to do their thing. And if you're only focused on myself, and I'm doing my stuff, you're going to lose more often than not, because you're not taking into account that somebody else you're not stopping them from doing their thing, and they're doing it faster than you, or more consistent, though they're hitting their things faster than you are. If everybody just did, I'm just doing my thing and we're not interacting with each other, then it's just whoever's hitting their combo the fastest. It almost gets to not saying CDH, but I mean,
Solitaire.
Yes. Everybody's doing their thing until whoever hits their combo, and then the game's done. You need to have that interaction with, and you need to factor that in, whether that's removal, counter spells, and all that. But then also you need to have enough protection there that you can defend yourself when somebody's going after you with your things.
So in almost everything that we talked about kind of like funnels into resilience. That's a little bit why I wanted to like save that for last.
Save it for last.
Like it kind of all funnels down a little bit into that. Like you're saying, like if whoever combos out fastest is the winner, that means your deck necessarily, like, you have resilience and other people may not. So if you're able to just, I'm going to combo that or counter that, and they go, well, my deck just lost. Well, maybe that player should add in some type of recursion or a couple more combos, and I think Renchai was talking about that. Most combo players add in multiple combos and stuff like that. And so if you just have the one combo and that's all the deck is doing, and you set it up to have that happen, and it gets countered or removed before you can do that, like, you need to make your deck a little bit more resilient. You need to add in more. If more combos is the answer, more combos is the answer. Do you need to be able to protect that at all costs? Add in indestructible, hexproof, counter spells, whatever you need. Do you need to be able to recur that? You need to go and look at what can I do to make sure that this happens?
Yeah.
If it's a glass cannon type deck.
And not to go back to last week of our gameplay thing, but that kind of fits in with how all our decks were going is, I don't know how to explain it as well, but like my deck wasn't ever threatening. Like it was never like shit, we got to kill Adam. We got to get him out of here. But the reason why it won eventually is I had the setup of I had an answer to protect everything or kill at the same point. And being able to, well, Sunforge, by the way,
Sunforge is good if you got the mana.
That's really fucking good. But I guess that would kind of fit in the resilience thing because I did have an answer for protecting my things. I got the protection stuff. Did I have the removal that came with that? No, I didn't remove there. I had it in hand.
You had Hedge Mage. You had Duger Hedge Mage that was removing artifacts and enchantments. That was brutal.
Yeah, because it
brutal. It was
every time it made the Duke made another copy. I was removing 2 things, and then
or blinking it to protect everything.
Yeah,
and
the blinking was a big factor in that because not getting away from the mass removal and stuff. But the thing is, and we've talked about this, I don't know, it's probably how long since we talked about this, but a lot of times when you see people win, it's the one that's the least threatening, but they stick around, and there is that factor of, that's a different thing too, we've talked about before, where the person that doesn't come out fast or is mana screwed, a lot of times people feel bad and they leave them alone and then they end up winning. That wasn't the fact of this last week. It was just a good battle and all that stuff. But the resilient thing of sticking around there, and having an answer for everything. I don't know. It's an interesting thing because
that's the interaction part.
Yes.
Right. And so here, let's look at it from a different. Number one, I'll give you an example of something that I've mentioned a couple times since then. But when we played, the last time we played on YouTube, I had my Ishin deck, right? In that first game, I was about to just kind of start going off.
Yeah.
And then Jacuzzi did the board wipe, and I was done. I'm a Mardu deck. I didn't have any sort of draw. I was just kaputs. And the deck that showed me that either I need to find some interaction that's going to save my crew, or I need to find some interaction that stops that kind of board wipe. Like that's where you go, like, you know what, that wrecks me. And I kind of knew going into it that was the case.
That if anybody did a board wipe and you were getting your stuff going, you'd be kind of screwed.
Yeah. And I called it, and so
but then the next game there was no board wipe and you wiped the floor with
just kind of ran the table, right?
Yeah.
Like and so those are those kind of things that, like, if I want to make my deck more resilient, maybe what happens is I have to take out some aggression to allow myself to actually be more aggressive. Because if I want to be really aggressive with my creatures, I can just flood the board and try and have the double triggers with Ishin, or I can maybe hold back a little bit, but be able to give them indestructibility or blinking them or phasing them out, or, what are my options to be able to make sure that I can flood the board with those token double triggers and stuff like that. And so if I don't have enough and I just constantly am getting board wiped, that's something that I could be considering an Ishin. And every deck has that kind of thing going on.
Wrench, I made a good point here. The best offense is a good defense. I think that is actually something I was just about not saying it that way. That is a very good saying with that. But like the thing that I've learned recently in the last couple of years is patience with things. Like sometimes playing Commander, I was always like, I need to play the optimal play, get as many cards out as I can. And that's how you play you try to tap out all your lands and get everything out. What I've been learning more is to be patient, because leave your stuff up to protect your stuff. Even if it puts you back a turn a little bit, at least you're allowing your things to keep going. You have an answer that if somebody comes at you, there's actually a good example.
No, you're right.
What? You're saying no.
I'm saying no, but that's because I get my jollies off of everybody going, oh shit. That's what I want people to do. So like, it's not, I understand that it's not the best play thing, but I want people to go, does anybody have an answer for Lowry? And if they can't, then I'm like, Yes. That's where I get my joy.
Yeah,
And
that's where you lock us down and the game is over. Yes.
right. I get so much. I once the game is over, I go home and masturbate. It's amazing.
Or you don't even go home, you just do it under the table or playing the next game.
No, I'm way too dirty. Like it's a cleanup.
I can't wait
with that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's all
It's
over.
like in what is
It's
that? Grandma's
everywhere.
Boy?
It's in my hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I can't stop. I'm already coming. Oh my god. That's a great movie. Serious topic into funny part or funny part.
Yep.
I don't know if I wanted to
So
add
a
more.
lot of things, like, again, let's talk about or mention again, like if you get board wiped like in Ishin, and I had nothing else to do really, like I didn't have enough draw spells in there. So that's again, if I know that I'm going to get board wiped, either I need to add in more or like more card draw to make sure that I didn't do nothing for multiple turns.
Mhm.
There are, the thing that you need to do with resiliency is go, what am I getting screwed? Like, when does the deck fall flat? How can I adjust that? What do I need to avoid? What can I cut back on a little bit to make sure that I can actually move forward with it? It's like one step back, two step forwards type thing. And the resilience of the deck, in my mind, is just making the deck work.
Right. Oh,
And so
can I jump in really quick with one thing?
absolutely.
This hitting another of last week's stuff.
Even though I am the CommanderSmith. It's like a 3-year-old joke,
Yeah,
and I
it's-
still apologize.
Well, I also did my podcast at one point instead of our
Did you?
podcast. Remember that? When I was like, you guys can check out my podcast. I mean, our podcast. We talked about it after that gameplay. And actually, if you guys watch the video, when I played Teferi's Protection, it was super early. And you had mentioned, I feel like that's really early. And it was. It should be like that felt like a really early play. It was very early in the game. All 4 of us were still in it. But what happened there was I was sitting there going, and I started to like move my commander off, and I was like, and all my creatures that were in there, I was like, if I don't play this now, I have no plays. And all I had was deflecting SWAT. I had things for protecting my stuff, but I had no way to get away from, because yours was, I think it was the Blasphemous Act is what was removing it. Something like that.
I cast that twice, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got away from damage and kept my creatures alive, but super early. Teferi's Protection, you normally want to play late in the game, but I had enough other things in my hand, and if I didn't have those anymore, I was dead. Like I was pretty much going top decking, and it wasn't going to survive. And so that's why I played it. But I don't know what, but the point of it, what was it? I was jumping into something that you said with that resilience, staying alive, whatever. It was just, I had to make a decision there, and realizing what I had out, that was the only way I could see that I was going to survive. I was going to be dead in the water if I didn't do
okay,
that.
so I'm going to assume I know what you're talking about. And from having the conversation then too, but if Duke dies, you weren't going to recover, essentially.
It was Duke and the other creature that was out.
I think it was Hedge Mage again, or White Orchid. I'm not even sure, but I think it was Hedge Mage. But essentially what it was is if those creatures died, like if Duke died, you would lose a turn and you were going to fall too far behind.
Yeah.
And you decided, and I think the Sunforger ended up like helping a ton because that allowed you to continue to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of like that idea of just protecting your creatures. Like, I'm not sure if you lost creatures ever. Like you just kind of kept on gaining them and protecting them and moving forward with it. But, and we can inversely look at when you redirected the Swords to Plowshare to my Savine, it killed me.
Yeah. And then later, after like 30 seconds later, I was like, oh shit, I should have done that to Ken instead of Lowry Savine. What it did, it hit you more than it should have gone to Ken. But I was so focused on getting it away from my stuff. Like,
again, in the long run, it was probably the right play because you were able to kill Ken.
Right.
And I was recasting stuff from my graveyard and I was not getting the double trigger. and those double triggers, instead of drawing, 6 to 8 cards at the end of the game, I would have done that in the first 2 spells.
Yeah.
I would have been drawing 10 to 16 that turn.
Oh, good for
Good for
but
you.
you killed Savine, which is pretty hard to do, but like you didn't even do it. You just redirected it over there. And but like if that had happened to Duke, you might have been you might have been a turn or 2 behind and not been in that spot where you were. So again, that's you're kind of like going off of a little bit, but when you killed Savine, that wrecked a lot of what I had going on.
Yeah.
That was a huge play. When you did that, I was like, fuck. It was brutal. And you saving Duke was probably the right play at that point. Like no matter what, saving Duke at that point was the right play.
Yeah.
Because when Savine died, I didn't really, it was either take a turn off or continue to draw cards and try and find answers.
And you went the other route. You didn't play Savine anymore at that point.
Right.
You found other means, which were still scary as fuck. But with Savine out there, we would have been extra screwed at that point.
Potentially. But when I had to replay it, I'm not doing anything for a turn.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're replaying Duke, you're not doing anything
Right.
for a turn. And so the question ends up being like, that's probably you played your resilience card, being able to keep on moving forward. You have that reactive part of protecting Duke, to whereas I didn't have that, and it set me back, and I had to make that decision. Your decision was Teferi's protection now or then, and mine was playing Savine now or not.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather be making the decision of Teferi's protection now or not.
Yeah.
And now I think that was, in the long
In
run,
the
that
long
was
run,
the call.
yes. And
Right.
but yeah, it was a tough thing. You don't want to play Teferi's protection too early. Then that's the thing
Right.
is a lot of people will get caught up in like, oh, you're killing my stuff. And then we're on turn like 6 or 7. It's like, give it time. Because Teferi's protection is supposed to be used for almost like a game winner in a way. But there I needed it.
Your
I
deck
was
is
dead.
around protecting or blinking or indestructibling Duke. And so if you have enough of that kind of thing, you can kind of just waste those?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Well, because I had 2 of them in my hand. That's why I was like, let's get rid of this one here.
Right.
I don't take the damage because I think it was if I remember right, I think it was your Blasphemous Act or something, because I think it did mass damage around, or somebody did, whatever.
Okay.
Well, now we're not even on our our topic. And
Well, but like
yeah.
part of this is like we're getting into real minutia here about resiliency within a deck. What is your deck doing? Right. I was able, like, I have the Blasphemous Act type cards. I have enough of them. I'm able to replay them from the graveyard. And I know I can just go, you know what? I need removal. Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
I need it again. Wrath. It was like every other turn I was casting a Wrath and still gaining board state and dealing damage and doing stuff like that. I wasn't going crazy, but that's not how the deck is. I don't have repercussions in there, which would easily win me the game in that deck.
Right.
If I played it. And so I can add that in for a quicker game or a faster game or a more powerful game, or, again, with
your tune up. If you wanted to tune it up a little bit,
I'd add that in along with like Torlaugh and stuff like that. So like, I know that I can have those cards. This is a little bit of what you were talking about with Renshai too, is you can have a sideboard of this will make my deck better. This will make and then have cards in the deck that allow you to tune it back down or up. And you have sideboards a little bit for whoever you're playing. And I think
that's
important too.
Hey, that is a very good tie-in, Larry. You did a good job. We should take I'm going to see if I can find that episode. Sideboard. Check out that episode as well, because that is, we actually do talk about that a little bit in there of tuning up and tuning down with that, but that is a good spot to plug in those tune up, tune down cards. So if you're playing different play groups, throw these cards in, take these out.
Yep.
I know there's a lot of people that do that. When we played with Renshai and when we played with Jacuzzi, they both, I know Jacuzzi tuned down his deck to play with more of our style of not counters and all that stuff. So that's always an option to use. So very good job. That was So should we do Staple
we good?
Versus right
I think
now?
we're good.
No, I'm just
Nah,
kidding.
nah,
I'm
we're 2.5
completely-
into this. We're
I'm
good.
completely kidding. All right.
I think we did that pretty good justice. That
yeah.
was enjoyable.
that was
Appreciate.
good. I
If
like how that turned
There's
out.
some other ideas that you have out there. If we can get 3 or 4 other ideas, we can turn this into another segment and kind of talk it over as well.
Yeah.
We just, we were talking about this for 24 hours basically, and we turned this into way too long of a segment.
This is our longest episode in probably years at this point. 2.5 hours. I can't remember the last time we went this. If I went this
Right.
long, I'd be raw.
think about this. We were just going around. We just talked about these 5 things, and we basically just used 2 fucking games for examples.
That is a good point.
The last
very
2
good-
Discord games that we did.
Yeah.
Like there are things that there are tons of examples that you can go through
Yeah.
on how to be able to tune up or down your deck, depending on what you feel like is going on with your deck.
Yeah.
And again, there isn't any problem with having different power levels in deck either. We've talked about this as well. Having higher power decks for higher power crews is good, and lower power decks for lower power crews is good.
Mhm.
But if you just have a few decks and you want to be able to play it everywhere that you want, these are definitely some ideas that you should be looking at to be able to adjust and have that sideboard to be able to just go, you know what, I got to take out these tap lands.
And I want
We're
to.
not there. Do it in the Discord, Doji, okay?
Yep. I think the last point that you made there too is a very good point. With if you have different metas, have that sideboard thing. Have
Right.
it so that you can switch in and out those. I like that. I like that you tied that in there. Yeah. So, like you said, if you guys have examples or anything like that, or things you want to talk about, either direct message us in the Discord or on this YouTube video or Twitter or whatever. Just shoot us that. We could add some stuff in and maybe do another segment down the road. We got a lot of segments kind of already pre-planned because spoilers, we're going to do our whole Commander 99 garbage, all that fun stuff. But we got some stuff down the road. So, all right, we got to cut this off because this is 2.5 hours in. Thank you guys again for the Malorts and all that fun stuff. That was a great episode. We did not do Stable Versus this week. We will move that into next week. And
can I plug real quick?
Yep.
I was on CMD
yes,
Tower
yes.
last week with Combo, and we did a kind of theory crafting on Cormella from New Capenna.
The
And
only
we were
thing
just talking about ideas and stuff like that.
the only thing
So
is I don't know when that one's out because I can't find it on YouTube.
I believe, I don't know. Keep an eye out for it.
When it's
You're-
out,
you-
we'll
you might be
officially
right.
we'll retweet it. But
Because we live cast it.
live cast,
but
but they do it a little different
apparently
than we
they
did.
edit it after, and
Yeah.
I don't know how quick it comes out or whatever. So
Don't edit it, just
Um,
fucking throw it out there. No, I'm just kidding.
we did 3 shots Ren Shy, and that's what we're going to be doing for the next 3 weeks after this.
Yeah.
So we are good because it was Doji, and
That was Samson. Was it Samson? that guy?
Samson.
Samson. Yep. So okay.
Samson.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Suck up.
I love boobs, I'm talking tatas. I love boobs, I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs, thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
Marshmallows. It's pretty chocolatey and syrupy.